Don't let the alluring voice fool you. I'm a lethal killing machine. Always believed in pretty much.
Hello, is this my introduction? I did the thing where I said I was going to make espresso before the show, and then I made it and I was sipping on it, and then I didn't want to drink during it, and so I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to take it all. And I took it all, and boy, oh boy, a wild ride tonight. I need my cowboy hat. I don't own one, but I need mine.
There's one hanging on. She's like, I'm gonna get off.
Hello.
Hi, Shalene.
Vendor, you're muted.
Dang it! I'm muted.
Do we need to start over?
No, it's okay. I introduced
we can do the thing
Dave.
again.
I have a little bit of espresso left over that I can maybe muster out my little joke again. Maybe, possibly.
Never fails.
It's past.
I even looked to see if I wasn't muted.
The moment's gone.
Well, anyways, welcome everybody to Gamestack Podcast. I am your host, Vendor. Joining us also this evening is Rick and Shalene, which you've heard from, and our special guest, Dave Chaffins. This is episode 76. It's not an air purifier. And we're gonna kick the evening off with some mentions, but also we've got a lot of things to talk about tonight. Don't forget, if you are listening in live right here on Twitch, hit that follow button or host us on your channel and get our name out into the community. That really helps us a lot. Don't forget, also tell your friends about the show. They can listen in even if we're not live on any of your podcast platforms, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. Yeah, be sure to tune in every week, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we'll be hosting another episode of That Fallout Show. And not sure what we're going to be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be great, because it always is.
Fallout.
I would
certainly Fallout.
I would like to mention I was on the last episode of That Fallout feed with Ray and Andrew and Jessica Starr. So that was a lot of fun. So thank you to everybody over there for having me on the show. It was lovely. And also, I just want to mention business. Stay home. Guys, stay home. It's very important that you stay home. The holidays are approaching, and now is not the time to gather in our homes. It's very dangerous. In highly impacted areas especially, care may not be available for you when you need it. So, in my province where I live, the ICUs are full. Our hospitals are filling fast. And that means that people that are in motor vehicle accidents may not be able to get the care that they need. And that's because of COVID-19. So it's very simple for us to get a handle of this. We need to stay home and stop social gatherings. So that's our public health announcement for everybody listening in. Try to be creative this holiday season. You can have virtual Christmases over FaceTime or Zoom or just audio call. We only have to do it just this year. Just this year. Next year, everything's going to be back to the way we want it to be. Hopefully, we just got to stick it out for a little bit longer. So
But the thing is, like, if we want it to be back to normal next year, then we have to stay home this year.
yes, absolutely, Shalene. Well said. So those.
Also, I want to dispel a thing that I had in November. I was a little afraid. I had to go get a COVID test. And I was afraid of how far the swab was up your nose. And they kept on saying it's gonna touch your brain. And like obviously, like, you know, I'm smart enough to be like, it's not gonna actually touch your brain. But in the back of my head, I was like, maybe it will. But as somebody who neti pots like a 40-year-old white lady, it was not that bad, and it was very easy.
No,
and it does
no,
not
it's-
touch your brain.
it's
Do
very
not
simple.
Be afraid of the
Yeah.
COVID test.
All it feels like is if you get water up your nose when you're swimming. That's basically all it feels like. And the throat swab is even less invasive. It's just a little tickle at the back of the throat. Don't start, Rick. Don't you dare.
It's all good.
Look at him biting his tongue over there. Oh, get out, scram. Anyways, do you guys have anything to mention before we hop into our Discord news? No?
Nope.
Shalene, you want to take the Discord stuff?
Oh, sure. Yes.
Ooh.
Okay. So some new channels have been added to the Discord recently, and it's gotten kind of wild. The first one is called GIF Wars. GIF or GIF, I believe that is what the war is about, right? GIF or GIF. But it's just a place where everybody's posting zany GIFs at all hours of the day, and it's really funny.
It's wild.
I'm not in there as much as I
Wild.
should be.
It's hilarious because like 1 minute I'll hop in and it's just like Nicolas Cage. And then like 10
That was
minutes
amazing this
10 minutes
morning.
10 minutes later it's back to cats.
I really enjoyed the Nicolas Cage phase. That was a lot of fun. I always try and steer it back around to Nacho Libre myself, but you know, it fits every occasion.
You know, if our
Underappreciated movie, and in its entirety, one of the greatest comedies to ever grace the silver screen.
Absolutely.
Beautiful film.
Dave,
Absolutely.
you are adopted into our We Just Love Games family. It's official.
Mhm.
It's great.
Welcome aboard. Welcome to the family.
Anaconda squeeze. It's the best
Yeah,
one.
it's really funny
So
how
good.
you know the
So
channel
good.
the channel just sort of like I think cats are at the focal point of the internet universe because it just always seems to go back to cats. It's just always cats.
It makes sense why the Egyptians worshipped them. Like they were years ahead
Right?
of where we are now. We built pyramids.
They had their own Reddit. It
But,
was
yeah,
wild.
they had cats. I mean,
Uh,
And the other new channel in our Discord is a holiday challenge channel where Everyday Vendor is posting a new photo challenge, holiday themed photo challenge. And that's been fun. We've gotten to see pictures of everybody's Christmas trees and their favorite Christmas candy and fun stuff like that. So,
yes, it was
That's
great.
been
Today's
fun
challenge,
times.
I think, was candy. Yeah, candy.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Any-
liked the trees from yesterday.
Do you guys have any suggestions for tomorrow's challenge?
Maybe favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, great one. Okay.
Yeah.
you know, everyone's gonna be like, "It's a Christmas story." It's a stupid movie. It's a
Well, the right there's answers, and then there's the right answer, which is White Christmas. And no, not Holiday Inn. That's just another
I'm
name.
dreaming.
what? What?
I don't know. What's your favorite Christmas movie,
Me?
Rick? Yeah.
Ernest Saves Christmas, man.
It's a good one.
The
It's a good
bottomless
one.
the bottomless Santa bag. That's great.
Exactly. What? Who?
That's a
who
great
wants
movie.
anything else? I mean, there's no competition.
I think my favorite
some
is
years.
It's a Wonderful Life. I think that's
That is a good one.
yeah.
Very
It's
good
up there.
one.
That is
Very
up there.
good.
I also like
Yeah.
Gremlins. Great Christmas movie.
Is that
Yeah,
a Christmas one? I didn't.
It is a Christmas movie.
Huh.
Takes place during Christmas, but it's
Hell.
also spooky.
Well, I mean, Edward Scissorhands, also a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a fair argument.
Cool.
True.
We're gonna have to talk about Christmas games. I think we did this last year. But we'll
Yes,
have to do it
yes.
again.
I love all the
Yeah.
holiday things that we talk about on Gamestack.
Very fun. Speaking of, well, absolutely nothing, apropos of nothing, we also have had several new people join our Discord recently, and we would like to welcome them all. Doc Raw AOD, Hey, it's Hutch, Patriot Gaming USA, H Rhodes 1518, and ODST Lion. Welcome all to the Discord.
We have a legitimate orbital drop shock trooper in here.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, that's pretty exciting. Feet first into hell.
I thought I was like, oh, I know what this acronym is, and Shalene takes it one notch up. Where I know what the slogan is.
Never underestimate Shalene. Ever.
I do love me some Halo.
You do.
How can people join our Discord, Shalene?
You can join our Discord by clicking the link on our Twitch page. If you're watching live, that's right below. And if you're not watching live, that link is still there anyway at all times. And if you somehow have an aversion to clicking on Twitch links, you can send us a message on social media and we will get that link sent to you.
Yes, thank you. So tonight we're going to talk about some news. We got some really zany news stories coming up here, and Rick is going to take us through our tried and true monthly new releases.
It's my favorite part. I love that part.
Also,
Poland talk.
also, we got some game stocks to talk about. Also, a new special segment about PlayStations, and Dave, who is our special guest tonight. Dave's here for the marathon. He's gonna be here for the whole show tonight. So get yourselves comfortable and hold on.
As I've said, I've prepared myself diligently. I have gotten my 8 hours of rest. That's a joke. Nobody ever gets 8 hours of rest in this time. But I have had, as you know, espresso. So I'm feeling great about.
So if you're listening into for the first time and you don't know who Dave Chaffins is, Dave Chaffins is a fellow podcaster from the general gaming community and host of Geography Arcade. And any other podcasts at the moment, Dave?
I do the Fallout Hub, which is a weekly Fallout show. The big thing with that is we're doing this big fundraiser called Fallout for Hope. That's next week, but the week after. So that would be, I guess, in the teens of December. My dates aren't good. My assistant isn't here, and so I'll need to check with them on that. And then I do this like wild, crazy, stupid kind of comedy gaming podcast called the Starfield Lorecast. The joke is that Starfield isn't released. There is no lore.
Right.
So
you are giving Bethesda the material that they need.
I've done a few David Bowie
know
covers.
They've got to be taking
They're
notes.
totally
right?
taking notes.
The Bethintern is
Bethintern.
probably tuned in, taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are responsible for the future of Starfield.
I mean, we basically
Power
wrote
wisely.
Fallout 76. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if they like it because it starts with news, which is all fine and dandy, but then there's segments called like the Cult of Astrology, where we are like taking apart Todd Howard's statements and making MS Paint drawing. There's this whole it's a very deep hole. So it's good to be here with you today. Now that you know you have a cult leader here with you.
I have got to check this out. This sounds like a good time.
But those are the two I've done. I also did Vault Boys WV, which was a Fallout 76 based podcast that I did in the past that was did with my buddy Austin. That is how I kind of connected with you all before, and I am a legitimate fan of the Gamestack podcast. I listen every week. So,
Wait, we have phony fans?
yeah, you would be surprised. I met a guy that just disappeared right in front of me.
So wait, you're telling me that our
Wasn't that espresso, man?
our number one viewer in Turkmenistan is actually a bot? Maybe?
No, those are the ones in China that are bots.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Or
wonder
they're
if we're still charting in Turkmenistan. I haven't checked in a long
We
time.
need to look into that. You know what we also need to look into? Some news. Shalene, what do you got up your news sleeve today for us?
This just in.
Thank you.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah, it does a thing.
It's there in like 18-fold font.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. News. As always, shout out to Joseph Tao. Thanks for helping us compile the news so we don't miss a thing.
And
You know,
don't,
we don't
Papa
want to miss a
Bads,
thing.
No.
I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I'll miss the news, and I don't want to miss a thing. So,
No.
Yeesh.
Sea of Thieves
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is a thing we have talked about in the past. It's a
Mhm.
game we all used to play pretty intently. And I think at this point, it's been a few months since any of us have really touched it. But I'm not sure we would even recognize the game anymore.
It's spaceships. We're like, what happened? Oh, we all got technology.
Sea of Thieves is getting a battle pass and seasons starting early next year. This is based on a Eurogamer article by Matt Wales. And starting in January, they will be adding this battle pass. They will also stop support for arena mode. Arena mode has not been as popular as they expected, so they're going to route all their support into adventure mode.
Which is really
arena will still be
that's-
available.
That's really
but
odd to me. Don't you think that's weird? You know, it's such a PvP based game.
Not really,
but
though.
the PvP exists in adventure mode. That's
You're
where it's
not
fun,
wrong. You're not wrong.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
And that's, I think, arena, if there's not a lot of support for it, there's no reason to upkeep it.
yeah.
Looks longingly at nuclear winter.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
So was
I
about to
wish
say.
they would work on nuclear winter. Yeah, so arena mode will stop being updated, but it will still be there. And the seasons will last for approximately 3 months. And previously, throughout this year, they've been doing monthly content updates. So it'll be every 3 months going forward.
Okay.
And each will add a new experience or way of play, according to the quote from Rare. And season 1 will add a new voyage type for the Merchant Alliance trading company.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, it will cast the players as detectives who must piece together clues across land and sea in order to locate a lost shipwreck segment.
Ooh.
So, in other words, just more tall tales is probably
Basically,
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're like mini tall tales. And they're fun, though. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
one thing that Sea of
absolutely.
Thieves always did so well was the storytelling was great.
Yeah.
And this whole battle pass situation, it sort of sounds like busy work, much like the Fallout 76 seasons that we have taken to calling homework.
Does it say how you're going to rank up?
No. Goals designed to give players a tangible sense of progress is what
That
it
makes
says. There are 100 progress levels with rewards including player cosmetics, ship cosmetics, and some Pirate Legend exclusive ones. And then there will also be, in addition to the core paddle bass.
Paddle bass. That's when
Paddle
you get a big
bass,
slap
that's-
with a fish across the.
In
That's
addition,
what they do in the fishing fraternity.
Don't make me get my paddle bass.
in addition to the paddle bass, there's also a premium tier known as the plunder pass. So you can buy that one, and that unlocks discounts in the Pirate Emporium and gives you a few exclusive items. The season will each bring quality of life updates as well, new Pirate Emporium additions, new Twitch drops, etc., etc. And in addition to this, the Advent calendar style Festival of Giving starts, featuring 12 days of giving and gilded voyages.
Oh, that's fun.
So we should definitely log in and grab those gilded voyages. Last year, I remember I grabbed the gilded voyages and we didn't play them until like July.
Yeah.
But you can keep those. You can keep those on deck for whenever you're ready. So
I'm curious to see what the new content will be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with all these battle passes and seasons and stuff is only down to one thing. So Destiny 2 has its own season, but what it is they're like, well, rather than coming up with a whole new mechanic to earn progress, we're just going to use something, I don't know, called experience points that you, I don't know, already get in the game. We're just going to make it like a longer time to get these, and then we'll add events and then just, give you bonus XP because it's already kind of made in the game. And what I can't stand is when, like, Fallout 76 like makes a whole separate mechanic with separate challenges apart from the XP. That's like, well, now you got to earn this thing, and it's like, just make it experience points. That way it doesn't feel like a chore, and then just make it long. So you got to play longer, right?
Yeah.
It's not a hard concept to do. And I think that's the biggest killer for me with 76. I haven't played 76 really since I've done the scoreboard because I needed a friggin' break. So I'm a little nervous that Sea of Thieves will do the same thing where they're like, well, like I hope that they allow you to earn progress on the season pass board by doing like standard in-game stuff as well as bonus content and goals and things, you know. So I feel like that would just be
That's a
really nice.
Very valid point, Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should be in game development.
You should
I
be.
I don't like all of these games fighting for our time. Like we have so little time anyway, and now all of the games want us to come back every day, and I mean I can't do that kind of commitment right now.
Yeah.
My biggest question is, do we have room for any other games as a service games? Like, is there going to be another successful one? Because clearly the Avengers game did not work out. And that has gigantic, you know, the Disney power where they're pumping the chemicals into your brains, kind of energy behind it. But that has a very, please do it, or I'll kill you.
Gosh, Donald.
Like that has a very low player count now as far as like a games as a service. Like there's a story there, you can play through it and it's actually pretty good. But like, do you all think that there's room for more games as a service?
I think there's room for more games as service if they start recruiting outside the traditional gamer audience. I think if they want to bring in some new people that maybe haven't been playing video games for a while, then they can find a market. But I feel like we're all stretched thin. Those of us who play games on the regular already.
This is kind of why I feel like games like Among Us and Fall Guys are really going to shine, because the commitment level is very low and the reward is very high. And they have these season-based strategies or plans for players. And so far it's worked very well with very little work that they've had to put into it, right? So I'm curious. I think like those smaller games are probably going to do quite well with that kind of model.
Yeah, put a battle pass in Animal Crossing. Call it
I don't
Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think the right question of is there room, because you know, there's enough room for season pass games as there were lifeboats in the Titanic. And it doesn't matter because people are just going to still shove those games in our faces. So they'll just fall and crumble. What I think is you can make them more manageable rather than, you know, most people will always have that one game that they go to that's their the one that they grind heavily. You know, for my wife, that's either Destiny 2 or, for more importantly, Guild Wars. That's always her go-to. But they also, you know, their stuff is fairly achievable. You know, but with stuff like 76, when you put in a system, and I'm not harping on it, it's just an easy target right now, but when you put in a system that's completely irrelevant to the internal mechanics, it creates another layer of, now I've got to do this other thing rather than enjoy the game as it is. By the time you get done doing the grinding, you're like, well, now I'm just burnt out from the base game. Because honestly, without the scoreboard or, you know, that's what, there's not a lot of stuff that isn't just super grindy. And that's kind of how I am with Destiny. There's a lot of, if you're not in it, there's a lot of changes. Like I was grinding for guns for like a week or two ago, and I was grinding for guns and I found out that those guns are just useless now. And I didn't know because there's new stuff. And it's like, it's frustrating. So if you can find a way to manage it, games service is always going to be a thing. But I still believe that there's always going to be room for single player as well. And there's just, those two will always be out to complement each other.
There's an elephant in the room that none of us are talking about here. And that is that we are mature adults.
Oh,
and so there isn't much time to play video games.
That's
mature adults.
Also true. Yeah, adults.
Who do you think you're talking to here, Vendor?
We're 30-somethings hosting a virtual podcast on a Friday night. Granted, this year is not really what the year to go out. But in general, years past,
We were here.
Here on
We were
Friday
here on
night.
Friday nights.
Right.
Well, I mean, you
Right.
got to admit though, that like younger kids have a lot of time on their hands to do all this stuff.
oh well, sure.
And when I'm
It's
logging
true.
in week from week and I'm going, I don't even remember that they changed this. When was that? I want the old guns back. Like, you know, like,
Where's my bolt action at?
Yeah, we're not the nerds. You're the nerds. Nerds.
back in my day.
So yeah, I definitely think that we're always going to see games as service because it's a model that can work, i.e., Fortnite.
Yeah.
But it's just something that, when done correctly, I think maybe Marvel's Avengers decided to put too much in it at like, just like they didn't get the player base first and then kind of add this stuff in. I don't
Right.
know, but I can't think of a Disney Marvel game, or I can't think of a superhero game that was really highly successful other than like I think one of the Spider-Mans.
Yeah,
I
the
can't-
newest Spider-Man one was, and then the new one.
Yeah,
was
the
also
Morales-
pretty
Morales.
successful.
New.
Yeah,
Mm.
the new one and the new one.
Didn't that come out on the PS5 too?
I
Yeah.
think so.
I have it in my notes. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Ooh.
All
PS5.
your questions will be
I know.
answered.
I was trying
PS5.
to segue.
That's some foreshadowing there.
No, I decline the segue. We're going to stay right here. See, that's a meta segue, and now somebody should take this away from me.
Hey.
Help.
I
We've
am
been
going
commandeered.
to take this away. Just like this woman took away her husband's PS5.
What? What are you talking about?
Yes, our
Nice.
next news segment is this is news coming out of Taipei, Taiwan. A Taiwanese man attempted to convince his wife that his new PlayStation 5 was an air purifier.
Bad idea.
And
Bad idea.
apparently they had some disagreements regarding the purchase of PlayStation 5. Because when she found out it was not an air purifier, she was furious, and he had to sell the device.
Wait.
So
He had to sell it?
he had to sell it, yeah. So a person named Jin Wu posted on Facebook that he purchased a secondhand PS5, and of course these have been really hard to get PS5s,
Mhm.
and he said that he got it at a very reasonable price. It wasn't scalped at 10 times the price, and the reseller was the wife of the original owner. So when he went to pick up the PlayStation, he met the lady's husband, who explained that he'd been forced to sell the PS5 after his wife realized that he had lied about it being an air purifier. Wu said that the man seemed bitter.
Okay, Dave.
Mm.
Would you let that happen? If
just
your
the
wife
story-
if your wife said that you had to sell your PS5.
But the thing is not that the wife is saying you have to sell the PS. The thing is that he lied to her.
Well, it's true. Let's say hypothetically you told her and convinced her it was an air purifier and it didn't
Right, if I-
work.
If I told her and convinced her it was the air purifier, then somebody has replaced my wife, because let me tell you something, I am not that smart.
Good answer.
The Borg have come in and they have taken her, and now she answers to the Borg. This also reminds me of the like teenagers, the like 16-year-olds that order stuff off Amazon, like a smoking device, and then when they get it, they're like, "Oh, mom, it's a candle holder. You put the candle in the top of it."
Top part.
Yeah,
And then you blow in the other end to light the candle.
yeah. That's that's what this reminds me of.
Everyone's like, but he lied to his wife. I'm like, yeah, but in the first place, she wouldn't let him get one, and that's a bigger atrocity. Because
I mean, we don't know. We don't know what the situation was.
Well,
Maybe they had really
judge
dirty
from the
air.
outside.
this is, we're living in a pandemic. Aerosol transmission is a big concern. Maybe an air purifier was at the top of the family's priority. Maybe. Just maybe.
There's a
Maybe
lot-
he was someone who had problems with shirking his responsibilities. in the
Maybe.
past due to gaming.
Why's it gotta be his fault?
I wonder if they're still
All I'm
married.
saying is that there are things we don't know in this story, but what we
I
do
love it.
know
It's so good.
is that
funny.
it's not an air purifier.
No. Somebody in the chat said he should have said it was a modem.
More believable. Yeah, we have a lot of internet here. We need a really big modem. I can't do HBO Max and Netflix at the same time. Got to get this huge modem.
Why is their modem so big? Well, because the internet is just so big coming in that it would
Big now.
leaks. It would just
5G. 5G.
Dude, I saw somebody was selling Faraday cages for their wireless modems. For 5G protection.
Jesus. Okay.
Oh my
Put
goodness.
the Faraday
Yeah.
cage on the wireless modem and see how that
is
works
terrible.
out.
That is terrible. So
$500 for a console too,
Jin
right?
Woo got a reasonable price on his secondhand console, which is good because that leaves him some more money to spend on video games, just like so many Americans are doing right now. This is a Games Venture Beat article by Jeff Grubb. Americans of all ages are spending more on video games. So this is largely due to the COVID-19 pandemic that's happening right now. The NPD group, which provides statistics regarding game sales, they've been providing some details on where this growth is coming from, and people across all age demographics are playing more games more often. Of course, mobile games is a huge driver in this increase in spending, but this also includes Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. In its 2020 Evolution of Entertainment report, the NPD found out that 4 out of 5 consumers in the US played a game in the last 6 months. That is huge. That's so overwhelming. More importantly for the industry, those consumers are spending 26% more time and 33% more money than at the same period in the previous year. And this isn't just young people. This is also older demographics who are turning to games as they have expendable income that they can no longer spend going out during this pandemic. So spending on video games for Americans 45 to 54 increased by 76%, and people aged 55 to 64 increased their video game spending by 29%.
Wow.
Video games has had a very, very consistent growth in comparison to 2019, according to NPD analyst Matt Piscatella. And that may simply, this is a quote from Matt Piscatella. This may simply reflect an acceleration of trends that were in effect prior to the pandemic. If this is the case, then the gaming market could experience continued growth without a post-pandemic pullback. If not, however, we may see a post-pandemic valley before returning to growth. It all rests on engagement. That's an interesting thought. I'm really wondering what's going to happen, if it'll rubber band after the pandemic ends, or if people are going to continue.
Yeah.
Well, I
think this is the new normal they've been talking about. I think that
Yeah.
whenever they talk about the new normal, I think this is a piece of it. It's like how we can, like with the HBO Max saying that they were going to show all of the new Warner Brothers films like Wonder Woman, Matrix 4, and what was the other, Dune, that they're going to come out on HBO Max as well. So I think more media in general is going to be consumed by more people going into it. That's from my
I'm not
expert
sure.
opinion of absolutely no experience in it.
I think that there might be some pullback, but I don't think it's going to be substantial enough to really raise any sort of alarms. And
No,
I think that
Right.
the condition of people's mental health when this is all over, it's still going to be a challenging thing, and I think people who came into video games during this process will fall back to that when it's all over.
I think they'll dip slightly or plateau. I don't think it'll be as a climb as it has been. I mean, obviously, one man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's COVID is another man's profit margin. So, I mean, video games are just going up anyway. So it's. I'm just happy that like for the years of spending times in my basement playing video games, I'm now kind of vindicated.
Oh, absolutely. Not
Yeah.
only are you vindicated, Rick, but the new evidence that's coming out in psychological studies is showing the cognitive benefit to people playing video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and about movies and stuff, like I still think, everyone's like, but what if the movie theaters go away? I think it'll be fine. Like, I'm still going to go to movie theaters eventually because I love seeing like Star Wars in a big screen, but like, I'm not going to go see like a movie I don't really care about on the big screen. I'll just watch it on HBO Max, which is so great.
But you
know?
wouldn't have gone to see that movie anyway, would you?
What?
The
movie?
one you didn't care about.
Well, no, that's what I'm. Well, but like, if it was one that wasn't like, if I had friends like, hey, you want to go see a movie? And it's like, well, what are we seeing? Something kind of there. Like, I would typically go with them, but now I don't have to because I just watched HBO Max. But then I can go to the cinema to see something real cool. So,
Do you have HBO Max on your VR unit?
I didn't know you could get that on your VR unit.
Well, I'm just asking if you can. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Oh.
I have yet to get Alex. So
I mean, that's one of the main reasons I'd get a VR unit is to watch movies,
That would be
Really?
cool.
right?
Yeah, that would be cool.
I feel like that would get annoying. They're not comfortable, Fender. They're not.
Yeah, I know, but I would be laying down. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
going to
they have a big
stand
honking
there and
thing in
watch
the
a
back.
movie for 3 hours.
But they have a big honking thing in the back. You would just like kind of press on your head. They're not comfortable devices to wear for a long time. You wear them for an hour and a half and your head hurts.
Are the movie? Wait. Are the movies in V? What are you? Is this like some newfangled technology that I don't know? And we're being able to see like a Wonder Woman with a lasso in 3D.
No.
Lasso the person. You're like, oh
you
man.
can watch some movies in VR, but not all.
No,
That's
you
a
can watch
direct-
it
Okay.
like it's in a theater. You have like
Yeah,
a virtual TV screen that's just huge.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
would hate
I
to
was
direct
about to say I'm missing out on something because I could have been watching some crazy stuff happen, man. That missing out.
Wow.
So earlier, I forget which of you said it, but you used the phrase that one man's trash is another man's treasure. Well, one man's treasure is his mom's trash.
Oh no.
According to this report by VG 24/7, a New York resident lost much of his game collection, worth approximately $500,000 after his mom threw them away. So he's an employee of J&L Game, a gaming store in New York City, and his mom threw out a substantial amount of his games and hardware. He joked on Twitter, "People are gonna die. I just found out from my mom a few years ago that all my PS1 games, 500 plus games, half of them are still sealed. I'm going to kill somebody."
Oh my.
So it was, he claims that it was well over $500,000 in games, and he had left all of his stuff in storage at his mom's house. She threw out his Ataris, his Coleco, Intelli, Famicom,
no.
S Famicom, and Mega Drive, Master System, every system and game that he didn't take with him. And also there was some non-gaming things that were worth a good deal. A couple of Marshall stacks, pedals, a drum kit, boards, skateboards, and a comic collection as well. So personally, I think that if he's gonna just leave his junk at his mom's house, she has the right to throw it away.
There's a lot that's not coming through in this story.
Right.
But how many times did she ask him to come
That's
and
what I
get
was
his
thinking.
stuff?
Like,
Yes.
you need to come get your stuff, Ma. I'll get it later.
Yeah. I'll come
She's
next
like,
week.
Charlie, I'm gonna throw it away if you don't get this out of the garage.
Like
Yeah,
how we go to like an all in the family version.
New York. Oy, oy, oy. Wow.
I think there's a half-life on that stuff because like I've had my family be like, "Oh, you need to come pick up the stuff." Fortunately, I've helped them clean out their attic, so it's all good. But years before, they were like, "Oh, you need to come pick up the stuff. You need to come pick up the stuff." And then I'm hearing stories of people are like, "My mother threw everything out." I'm like, "Is there like a half-life on like mementos and things?" Like the more they asked, is like some of it get thrown out, and then a little bit more, and it's like a little bit of your soul. Like they're like,
Yeah.
stuck in a little-
7
I
years.
just-
7 years,
You know
baby.
what?
7 years.
Yep.
He could have rented a storage unit to keep these things in, to keep his collection in.
Why?
So
His mom,
I mean,
his mom was the storage unit.
That's the
see,
problem.
maybe if he would paid his mom for storage, rented half the garage, then we would not have been here. But maybe she needed that space, and
Wow.
yeah.
Well,
So
it's funny because it's the reverse here. I have stuff of my mom's in storage at my house. Just throw it away.
I wonder if one of the
Yes.
guys, that works for the dump, like seen this article and then was like, "Hey Ray, where's that load you brought in on Thursday? We need to go fishing."
Get your gloves on.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go again. Not the accents.
Oh boy.
And they're terrible.
Terrible. Terrible.
oh my goodness. So
Uh,
bad. Okay, I have no way to segue into this next one. I've
Wait.
got nothing.
Wait, I'll give you a segue. In other diplomatic relations news,
Nice. Nice. Jagmeet Singh, leader of the Canadian New Democratic Party, and Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, U.S. representative for New York's 14th Congressional District, raised $200,000 playing Among Us on Twitch.
Hey, that's cool.
Yes, it was very cool. So these two politicians played video games against each other, competitive video games, and the live stream resulted in $200,000 raised for charity. And they seemed to develop a pretty friendly relationship during the stream. So Jagmeet Singh challenged Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez to play against him in Among Us. And they donated the money to charities that aim to reduce food and housing insecurity in the United States. And they definitely seemed very friendly by the end of it. After the stream, AOC wrote on Twitter, "Wonderful learning from you, Jagmeet Singh. Thank you for reminding us that another world is not only possible, but just a few hours drive from NYC." And he responded saying, "Thank you."
Hear that, vendor? We're coming for your country.
Get
he
over
added that
get
it
over
was-
yourself.
He added that it was awesome chatting with you about how we can build a better world. So he did talk about how good things are in parts of Canada, but also admitted that some things aren't perfect, but stated that together we can do better. A quote from Singh is that, "My mom always taught me when we lift each other up, we all rise." And the purpose of this whole scenario was to connect with some young people who have an interest in politics. And I think that was a really, I love that we're seeing people using Twitch as a way to connect with audiences that may not be the traditional political audience, people that might not be willing to tune into C-SPAN, but would check something out on Twitch. So
Yeah, and it's nice
great.
that they kept it light. They really focused on just playing the game and just having fun and showing that they're having fun. They didn't go into any sort of like crusade about why they are a politician or whatever. Just there to raise money and
yeah, kept it lighthearted, raised some money for charity. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of people. Oh, sorry. I think a lot of people scoff when politicians or people in power do stuff that is geared towards kids.
Yep.
But if they're doing it and they're having fun, like what's the point?
At the end of the day, they're people
judging somebody
too,
by
right?
that?
Yeah,
people
it's
too.
Exactly.
funny when people get so annoyed over like celebrities saying something political or political people saying something that's like fun,
Right.
like it's just like, yeah, they're all humans. They all have opinions and thoughts, and
Yeah.
they're allowed to say them. I don't understand why we're so angry.
Politically, I find it a very smart move.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
pop on Twitch and do a Twitch stream, because I definitely would be inclined to support someone that I can identify with, and if I see somebody having a good time streaming on Twitch, that's my demographic right there.
Yeah.
So to me, it's politically very smart to reach out to people
Oh,
that
sure.
have not been catered to before.
Yeah.
Right.
It helps to humanize a politician. So
That's
it
just
definitely was a smart move.
such
It
a
was- it
feel-good
was-
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Shalene.
and I did have one more. We've done mostly lighthearted and silly stories today, which was fun. But I do want to discuss
Time
this
to ruin all
one
of it.
one more serious note. So you guys know how much I love Dragon Age and Mass Effect, BioWare games of
Yep.
the past. Well, I've tried to hold hope in my heart for Dragon Age 4. I want it to be good, but my little kernel of hope is slowly being crushed as Casey Hudson is leaving BioWare again. According to this Kotaku article by Ash Parrish.
Again.
Again, yes.
I didn't know he left once.
He did leave once already and returned to the studio about a year ago. He is the creative director of Mass Effect and the former studio general manager of BioWare. He stated in his departure statement, "I'm incredibly fortunate to have had a career where I've been able to work with brilliantly talented people, create entire worlds from our imaginations, and see them being enjoyed by millions of people around the world. And now, after nearly 20 years of work at BioWare, I've made the decision to retire from the studio and make way for the next generation of studio leaders." And also leaving BioWare is Dragon Age executive producer Mark Dara,
Oh.
who says, "Though I remain confident in BioWare's strength and continued place in this conversation, I have decided to retire from my position at BioWare." Hudson left BioWare in 2014, joining Microsoft, and in 2017, he returned to BioWare as the general manager. And Mark Dara has been there for 23 years, overseeing the Dragon Age series. So development on Dragon Age 4, the Mass Effect remaster, and other things will continue. But this makes me a little nervous, seeing these studio heads leaving.
Yeah.
I feel like
What do you
BioWare is a very different company than it used to be.
What do you think that means for BioWare, Shalene?
Well, I mean, the last few things that have come out of BioWare have not been great. Of course, Anthem was a tremendous failure. And prior to that, Mass Effect Andromeda was not well received. It had a lot of issues.
You think these guys, this old boys club is just out of touch?
I think that
EA is out
the
of touch.
studio has suffered since its acquisition by EA.
Mm-hmm.
The studio has definitely suffered since its acquisition by EA. I think that I think it's likely a very different studio than it was when they were making Mass Effect 2 and Dragon Age Origins and these games that are so beloved to so many of us. So I'm still trying to hold out hope for Dragon Age 4 because I want it to be good, but we'll see.
From my perspective, EA seems like they have a weird policy with their studios. So they do obviously all the sports games, all that different stuff, but with Respawn, who make Apex Legends, and they did that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, from the interviews with Respawn, they were like, yeah, they like came into meetings, but it wasn't, nobody told us what to do. Like we just went out there and ran the company and made the video games, and there wasn't much thing. And they've been very successful with their games. And the indie projects, like that one with that crazy man that came out and said F the Oscars.
Yes.
I forgot the name of that game. Joseph Fares was the director. He did that at the Game Awards, but he said that they don't really bother him. But it seems like that studios that come out with a bad release, from an outsider's perspective, it seems like maybe EA takes hold of them. And once EA kind of like sinks their fingers into it, everything becomes very complicated. And that's normally to the detriment. And even seeing stuff about like the Star Wars game that was canceled and how done it was actually like really pretty much done, is insane to me.
Wasn't BioWare one of their first acquisitions?
I don't think so.
Don't remember.
I couldn't remember how long ago they got it, but I feel like they had more of their fingers in BioWare's pie because they were so successful that they were trying to meddle a little bit more than they should have. I don't know. And Respawn's a smaller company than BioWare. At least they haven't had as many major releases and successes as BioWare. So I think maybe they were just
Right.
kind of like, yeah, you go do your thing. Here's your money.
BioWare's big now because they have that own separate team that's supposedly working on Anthem from like the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Are they rebuilding
Oh.
Anthem or something?
they have said that they have a small team that is working just on like it's like 32 people, I think, and they're just like trying to redo Anthem, essentially 2.0 it.
Huh.
That's
Mhm.
what they have said in the past.
The
But
concept looked cool. I like any game where you have a little targeting device that targets a bunch of dudes and like a bunch of little missiles fly. I'm
Yeah,
not sold
yeah.
on that mechanic. So,
Yeah.
Well, I guess time will tell. We'll see what happens.
uh-huh.
In
where
other
did
news,
they have their fingies? That's my question.
right? In other news, Rick, do you want to take us through December's releases?
I do.
Okay, go.
Alright. Okay. These games are already out. Chronos: Before the Ashes, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia. It's all out now. Empire of Sin, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. Rainbow Six Siege, apparently, PS5 and XSX. That's why, because new consoles and stuff.
New
Red Dead Online.
consoles. Yeah.
Yeah. PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Twin Mirror, Lost on Arrival. PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Worms Rumble. PC, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4. Fortnite Chapter 2, Season 5, and there was much rejoicing. PC, PlayStation 5, XSX, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Sam Ampersand Max Save the World Remastered, PC and Switch. Death Tales. I wonder if that's like the darker version of
Woohoo!
like DuckTales.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Death Tales is out December 3rd. El
Hijo.
Hijo. A Wild West Tale. PC and Stadia. Immortals Phoenix Rising. PC, PlayStation 5, XSX, PS4, and Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia. Morbid: The Seven Acolytes. PC,
Morbid:
PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Morbid:
Yes.
Xbox One
Oh,
and Switch.
morbid colon.
so
I
good.
just oh.
It's so good.
You know when you go to a funeral and
Death farts.
Dave. Oh, Dave. Okay.
Gotta sew that up there, or else it clears out the whole
No.
sanctuary.
I'm so sorry for your loss. I need to go real quick. I got something to do.
Phoenix Point: Year 1 Edition. PC. Shiren.
That
the
is not a
Wanderer.
typo. That's not a typo.
Shiren the Wanderer: the Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate. Oh, there's a long one. It's been a while. Oh, they need like 3 lines on the.
That's a lot going on in that game.
There is. Out for PC. Startup Panic is on PC.
That's what, every day I start my computer. I don't need a game for that.
Instead of like making a nice like bong startup noise, it's like ah!
Yeah.
Taiko no Dashujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack. Wow. Switch. Tinkertown. Tinker is a funny word to me, and I don't know why. It's such a light, playful like.
Makes me think of
Tinker,
Tinker Tom.
It's Tinker Toys. If you remember Tinker Toys when you were a kid.
Mhm.
Commandos 2: HD Remaster is on the Switch. That is out today. Dark with a Q: Complete Edition is out today as well on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
I wonder if Dark Colon knows Morbid Colon.
It's the fancier version, you know. It's got that Q. It wants to be separate. It's a little separate.
Well, Q. Never mind. That was going to be a stretch of a joke, and I'm not even going to try it.
Well, I
Dragon
mean,
Quest.
I'd rather. Never mind.
Dragon Quest 11 S: Echoes of an Elusive Age dash Definitive Edition. PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. The copy and paste game, FIFA 21, is out on PlayStation 5 and XSX. Fitness Boxing 2: Rhythm & Exercise is out for the Switch. John Wick Hex is also out for Xbox One and Switch. And Madden 21, which is another copy and paste game, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. It's also out today. Suzerain.
Nailed it.
Yeah, out today for PC. Now here's where we get to games coming out. Call of Duty Warzone Season 7. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. That's out December 8th, as well as Call of the Sea, PC, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One. Destiny 2 comes to the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Doom Eternal to the Switch. Planet Zoo: Aquatic Pack DLC, PC. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Switch. Right, the Eye of Atlantis. The Brown Eye of Atlantis. PC,
No, Rick. We're supposed to dance around it, not...
Right
Never mind.
colon is better
Never
than
mind.
the wrong one.
Right. Is there a right? Shakes on a Plane, PC and Switch.
Shakes on a plate.
Hold up.
Shakes
Hold up a minute. What?
Shakes on a Plane.
Is it like turbulence simulator?
it's-
like,
no,
is it like
it's
making
snakes on a-
milkshakes?
It's
Are
Snakes
we
on a
like-
Plane, but Sean Connery's the main character.
I'm hoping for making milkshakes. I'm expecting like an Overcooked style making of milkshakes
Shakes on
and
a
delivering them to
plane.
passengers.
Oh, man.
Is anybody Googling this?
Oh, I'm on it. I get shakes on a plane so you can all see it.
Yes.
Is it handshaking where we like at each one it's like that was a good one and then you do
Oh,
a really
we're on a
like,
plane, 30,000 feet high.
Cartoony graphics.
Oh, it's like Overcooked.
It is like Overcooked.
Oh, I want to play this.
Oh, it's literally Shakes on a Plane like a diner. One cabin crew.
That's cute. I like it.
Moving on. Swords of Gargantua is out on PSVR. Temtem is out on PS5. And Minecraft Dungeons: Howling Peaks DLC, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch
Dark
is out on
Morbid
December
Dungeons.
9th. Huh?
Dark Morbid Dungeons.
You know, Minecraft Dungeons
I
is
was
actually
more
pretty fun.
concerned about the colon howling, but
Sorry. There's duck in here somewhere.
Nice. The door's squeaking. Yeah, we're on to December 9th. Wood Salt, PC and Switch. That's on December 9th as well. Moving on to December 10th, Animal Farm PC. Brigadine: The Legend of Runersia. Runersia.
Renurja?
let's go with
Runersia.
inertia.
Runersia. Gosh, it's like when they come into making fake land names, they just kind of like swipe their hand across the keyboard, and they're like, "Great, there we are."
Yeah.
December
I mean,
10th.
what are you guys going to do about hurricanes? I mean, you're in the Z's now. They're going to start taking from these lists, I think.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Now, the one we've all been waiting for, Cyberpunk 2077, comes out on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Stadia on December 10th. Note that this is not coming out for new gen consoles on the 10th. Okay.
Dave, are you going to wait for the PS5 version?
No, it seems like that they are marketing this as like a PS5 version for now. So it seems to run.
Yeah, it's backwards compatible.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'll be playing Deus Ex 3 definitely.
Salty much?
Yeah.
Haven comes out on December 10th. I feel bad for anything coming out on December 10th right now.
That's true.
Why? Why is that?
Because Cyberpunk 2077 is
Oh,
going to be killing
right.
everything on the 10th. Haven comes out for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One. Sword of the Necromancer, PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One and Switch. There's a classic sound.
I wonder if the necromancer has anything to do with the morbid colon.
I knew you were going to say that.
Probably in the dungeon.
Oh, gosh.
We can't. I can't dress
Medal of
them up,
Honor.
but you can't take them out.
Here's another honor : Medal of Honor : Above and Beyond, PC VR, December 11th. I'm really curious to see how this works out.
Starting to pluck my eyebrows now. Getting nervous.
Space Invaders. Too bad there's no colon after that one. Space : Invaders would have been great. Space Invaders Forever, PlayStation 4 and Switch. That's out December 11th. Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend. What? Collection of Saga Final Fantasy. That's a weird name. Switch.
Oh, that's
December
the
15th.
Game Boy stuff that they had.
Oh.
Hence Switch.
GTA Online : the KO Perico Heist, PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, is on December 15th. Then we have on the December 16th, MXGP 2020, PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Override 2, Super Mech League, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, and the Switch, December 22. The Binding of Isaac, Repentance, DLC. Yeah, The Binding of Isaac. I wonder if this is... Focus.
No.
PC, December
Repent!
31st.
Repent!
Fall Guys Season 3, PC,
I'm
PlayStation
excited.
4, Xbox to be determined. And When the Past Was Around, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Switch, coming sometime in December. I'm
Oh,
personally
man.
looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077. Apparently, Best Buy has been shipping pre-orders already.
I don't
There's, like, physical
understand.
copies in the wild.
Red Dead Online for PC, I mean, that's already out.
As a
The update.
standalone.
Yeah.
Going to be available as a
Correct.
standalone purchase without the single player. Why anyone would do such a thing, I cannot imagine.
I don't know.
Yeah. I
Makes
mean,
no sense.
online is great,
Yeah.
but single player is... You have to
Fantastic.
start there. You have to start there.
Wait till I tell you about my Red Dead play today.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
boy.
excited.
It's short, but it's funny. Free games this month. If you don't have any scratch to spend on... Never mind. PlayStation Plus, PS5, and PS4 games for December 2020 are available now. They're available from the 1st to the 4th of January. Sorry, December 1st to the 4th of January. Just Cause 4, Rocket Arena, Worms Rumble, and Bugs Snacks is PlayStation 5 only. So there you go. Just Cause 4 will get you through a lot if you don't have a lot of money to spend on
Joseph
games.
Tao brings up a good point about Red Dead Online. It's really good for people that get banned online with their account with the base game. So they just buy a new online version and it's cheaper.
But
That sounds like a way for criminals to
Yeah, anyway, it
re-enter
sounds
our
like a way for-
society, vendor. Come on.
Hey, Joseph Tao said it, not me.
unless you, anyway, Xbox games with gold, free games for December 2020 are now available. Let's see here. We've got the Raven remastered December. It's available all month. Bleed 2 is available from December 16th to January 15th. Saints Row, Gat Out of Hell, December 1st through the 15th on the Xbox 360. By the way, Bleed 2 and the Raven remastered are available for the Xbox One only. Stacking, December 16th through the 31st is available for the Xbox 360.
Stacking was so good. If you haven't played Stacking, install it and play it while it's free.
Is it
Stacking
kinda
was
like
a
Death
great
Stranding?
game.
Was it the Russian
Yes, the Matryoshka doll game. Yes, it was so good. I loved it.
I love
Remember
Matryoshka
that.
dolls. I like the little ones.
Yes. He had a collection of Russian dolls.
What was that from?
Nacho Libre.
But where? What part? I don't.
That's in the beginning when he's on dead guy duty. And he's like, he had a good life. He had a good woman, a collection of Russian dolls. So good.
It always circles back around to that movie.
Yeah.
Move on. I'm sorry.
Always.
Anaconda squeeze. That's my call sign at the party. They're like, Dave, where you're at? And I'm like, Anaconda squeeze.
Oh, there he is over there.
Yeah.
I still think the secret tunnels is the best. Hole in the wall. Oh, anyway, Twitch reveals Prime games that you can get for free for this month, and they are Turmoil, Signal Theory: Global Cold War, Hyperdot, Close to the Sun, and Wizard of Legend.
Wow.
So yeah, that's it for the games that are coming out and the free games. I plan on buying Cyberpunk 2077. Do you guys plan on buying anything?
I'll get Cyberpunk.
I'm gonna wait and see.
I'm gonna get it the week after it's out, just to kind of let it settle a bit. Plus, I have vacation days then, so.
Yep.
I'm gonna get Cyberpunk for sure. Play that. Other than
Yeah, I'm gonna get Cyberpunk and I'm gonna play the first 10 hours.
And then never.
And
play
then
it
something
again.
new is gonna come out.
And then you'll
Yeah.
never play it again.
All
Well.
right.
Well, Rick, how do you feel? That was quite the marathon for you. You tired? Need to take a little drink of
Was.
water
I'm
there,
good,
buddy?
man.
You're good?
I'm
Good to
good.
go? All right, guys. Up next, Gamestock. Well, The stocks are looking really good this week. Sony closed. These prices are in US dollars as of 4:30 p.m. today. Sony closed at $94.40, up 57 cents. Microsoft closing at $214.36, up 12 cents. Nintendo at $68.40, up 57 cents. Take-Two down 3 cents, closing at $180.73. Activision seen some pretty good gains today, closing at $80.88, up $2.09, as did Ubisoft at $78.10, up $1.48. EA gained 31 cents, closing at $128.69, and Tencent down 72 cents, closing at $75.73. And I wanted to share this article from PR Newswire about the economic impacts of the video game industry in the United States just within the last little while here. So this new study from Entertainment Software Association, ESA, talks about how the video game industry has generated a significant amount of money within the last little while. Texas ranking number 3 in that list at $4.15 billion, employing a total of almost 25,000 people. California took this top spot, total economic output $51.8 billion, and employing 218,000 jobs, which is absolutely fantastic. Among the top 10 of these states, Washington was also included in the second spot. Florida, number 4, New York, Nevada, Minnesota, Idaho, Illinois, and North Carolina taking that number 10 slot. The video game industry, according to this report, accounted for about 25,000 jobs in Texas, either directly through industry jobs or through supplier or other supported jobs, ranking third behind California and Washington. But overall, the annual economic output in total was about $90.3 billion, and almost 500,000 jobs created within the last year. So this report is good news for the gaming industry and good news for companies, especially those who have gone public and are trading actively on the New York Stock Exchange. More than 214 million Americans play video games, 64% of which are U.S. adults, and 70% of those are under 18. And the average age of a gamer is about 35 to 44 years old. So thought I'd share that report with you guys. What do you guys think? Sounds pretty nice. You want to work in video games now, or what?
Yep, see you.
Yeah,
Bye.
that sounds good. I do want to. I want to take a minute. Take a minute in the GameStock segment here. And as a podcast listener and a dear friend of the show, this is one of my favorite segments, mostly because everyone really loves to pry into Shalene's financial situation as to her Nintendo stock. And so here I am again. Shalene, how is your Nintendo stock doing?
Your one.
Let me check on my portfolio.
10 stocks.
Please check your. Tell me about your stocks.
I wish you had a brown manila folder that you just pulled your phone out of.
Oh, that would be
Right.
amazing.
It's like we need to check in with our top investor, Shalene, to see her Nintendo stocks. How is it doing? What is your financial situation?
Like,
Okay.
Do you have your tax return available?
My 3 Nintendo stocks are sitting at $68.40 right now. That is a net return of $63.21
Hey.
since I
Nice.
purchased them.
So we're all getting Christmas gifts.
Yes, that's really good. My complete portfolio is valued at $222.47.
Wow.
how much did you initially invest?
So
Wow.
$100.
Oh, great.
there
So
you
you've doubled your
go.
money. You should
Yeah,
cash
a couple
out.
of years ago, I invested $100, and I had it in EA for a while. I had it in Take-Two for a while. I had it in Microsoft for a while. Of course, I had it in those disastrous Sony stocks for a while. They were just so bad. But yeah,
Wow, that's
We should
wonderful.
do stock races. We should all like invest. Like a
We should
fresh
just
chunk of
like
change.
flip a book and point at one and invest in it. Invest like $10 or something.
Man,
Buy one share of each. You should
Yeah.
sell
Good.
what you put in, Shalene.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to let go of the Nintendo stocks yet.
No, you should definitely listen to the advice of the people on this podcast, because we definitely know how we want you to spend your money. We will always know. Have you considered a 15-year instead of a 30-year mortgage rate? How's your savings situation? What's your 401k? These are all the things that we need to know.
Yeah. Don't cash your RSPs to put a down payment on a house. Don't do it. Anyways, that was special. You know what's also special? Our new special segment. Are you guys ready for this? I'm going to take you through a walk through history with the history of the PlayStation, because today we're talking about PS5 with Dave, and I thought we would just take a little walk down memory lane. So Dave, you're a PlayStation owner now, but how far back do you go with Sony?
I've owned a PlayStation 2 through 5. I did not own a PlayStation 1, but in the Harry Potter club in middle school, I got to play the Sorcerer's Stone on a PlayStation 1.
That was good.
From an old TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I have played, that is and Crash Bandicoot at a friend's house.
Okay.
Other than that, I have owned all the PlayStations.
How about you guys, Shalene, Rick?
I had a PS3 and a PS4.
Okay.
My first experience with PlayStation was Resident Evil 3 at a very young age.
That would have been on PlayStation 3?
PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm. Going
Wow.
back.
Well, the original PlayStation 1 released in Japan in 1994 and America and Europe in 1995, which was, if my math, 15 years ago. The game, 25 years ago. My apologies there. A little bad on the rusty on the math there. And this was a game changer for consoles. It was a very sleek format. It did take a CD, meaning that games were generally considered bigger. It did have 3D capabilities and superior sound to what came before it. And it became the first games console in history to sell over 100 million units worldwide, which
was a unit.
Pretty cool. We also seen the introduction of the PlayStation controller, which was a very popular controller. As you remember, the 4 shoulder buttons instead of the standard 2, and then it also had Toyo Goto's PlayStation controller design. The joysticks and the handles specifically at the time it was molded for your hands, but they've come a long way since. And some of the early games that we seen with the original PlayStation was, things like Crash Bandicoot by Naughty Dog in 1996. We also seen Ridge Racer by Namco in 1994. And Crash Bandicoot, of course, as you guys know, was quite a popular game back then. And then, of course, we had Tomb Raider, which also released in 1996 by Core Design. And, that's the classic, the square or the triangle cosplays that you guys see of,
Yeah, jumping in that
Lara
game
Croft.
was weird because nobody figured out how characters can jump yet, and so how Lara Croft jumps is she squats down,
Yeah.
and then she leaps up in the air
Yeah.
all the way up.
Yeah.
It's good.
In 1995, the PlayStation Link cable came out. And, before the internet was really mainstream, this cable allowed players to connect 2 PlayStation consoles and 2 TVs for selected multiplayer titles. So that's pretty amazing. And then in 1998, we seen the Pocket Station. Have you guys heard of this?
I have never heard of the Pocket Station.
The Pocket Station was one of the first consoles to use external memory cards, leading to the creation of Pocket Station in 1998, a memory card with a built-in LCD screen and basic controls for mini-games. So that's kind of neat.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah. And then, of course, in 1998, Konami's version of Metal Gear Solid, which was great. I played many of hours of Metal Gear Solid. Then after that, we seen the introduction of the PlayStation 2. And that's where my introduction to PlayStation really came in. It was the evolution of consoles at the time. High definition 3D visuals, online play, and integrated DVD player meant that you could not just play video games at home, but watch movies too. So it was really a family-driven console. This is where we seen the introduction of the DualShock Controller 2 in the year 2000, and Grand Theft Auto 3, one of Rockstar's most popular games, in 2001. Are you
remember
feeling
playing that.
old yet?
Dude, no, I just remember playing that for the first time, and not very many instances in our lives where we see something and we go, that is significant, like on a huge level. And I remember thinking that watching, like, because that is one of those things that's so important. You're like,
Yep.
that is going to be the most important game.
Yep.
Like for a very long time.
Yep.
And it was because it was like nothing we'd ever seen before.
It was my first introduction to an open world concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We also seen Jack and Daxter, the precursor Legacy by Naughty Dog, 2001. That came out.
Best Banjo-Kazooie game.
Yeah, and then also Ratchet and Clank by Insomniac Games in 2002, which was a big hit as well. Then in 2003, we saw the introduction of the iToy. Did you guys have this for your PS2s?
I didn't have any.
That's where you had the people that were like, touch the jellyfish on the screen. They're like,
Yeah,
look at me.
Yeah. So this used the PlayStation 2's USB ports, and it was a digital camera that projected your image on the screen, but also tracked your movements. And this really, really started the race for augmented reality games. So Sony really paved the way for that. We also saw the introduction of SingStar mics in 2004, which I'm unfamiliar with, but this was for karaoke and other related song-based entertainment. And then we seen buzzers introduced in 2005, which was for quiz games, quiz type games, and like trivia games as well. God of War by Sony Santa Monica in 2005 was released, and that's pretty much the history or the touch points that Sony wants to illustrate on their website for the PS2.
That's the only PlayStation I've ever purchased.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yep, the only one I ever purchased.
Up next,
That was a really great generation.
It was
Yeah,
an
it was.
excellent generation.
That was a really great generation.
The PlayStation 2 was the king of that year, of that era. It really was.
any of you have the PSP?
No.
Yes.
I skipped this one.
I'm PSP and PS Vita. I'm pretty much like,
really?
you know
You're
how
one
those
of them?
people feel about Disney World? Like,
Yes, I know someone who was a Disney
Yeah,
fanatic.
I'm pretty hardcore into the Sony situation.
Did you hack your handhelds?
Yes, I
Nice.
did.
Nice.
I did. The PSP is better to do that on. That's one of the things about the Vita. It's like I have a Vita. It's like beside my nightstand. I've also had a Switch and the Switch is a way better handheld in general. But I want to do that with my Vita. Think about it.
What operating systems are they on? Is it Android based or something?
I can't. I don't know. It's a good question.
I just know a lot of people hack them, and I just kind of didn't ever really think of what's on them. But anyway,
I don't know.
Well, the PSP, introduced in 2004 in Japan and 2005 in US and Europe, was one of PlayStation's first handheld consoles. Pocket-sized powerhouse that could play games, movies, music, and browse the internet all at the same time. And we've seen games like Puzzle Fusion by Q Entertainment in 2004, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories in 2005 by Rockstar. And then they also introduced, some peripheral tech like the GoCam in 2006, which allowed you to take photos and record video with audio, which became the gateway for a lot of their augmented reality games. As well, we saw in 2006 the introduction of Loco Roco Japan Studios, which was a classic puzzle platformer game. And then in 2006, we see the introduction of the PS3, and that was in Japan and US in 2007, came shortly after in Europe. But the PS3 was my introduction back into the video game world, ironically enough. I bought a PS3 just to play Fallout 3. And the PS3 had all of the elements of the PS2, but it also had a beefier system, beefier guts inside of it. It was more powerful. It was able to play Blu-ray disc players, which really appealed once again to families, not necessarily gamers entirely, but families as well. We saw the introduction of the PlayStation Network and the PlayStation Store, 2006. Also, the 6-axis and DualShock 3 controller, which was able to allowed players to play wirelessly, which was kind of a big deal, right? No more sitting on the floor. Also, a new PlayStation Eye was introduced 2007, and we had PlayStation Home, which was a social environment that allowed people to create avatars and things like that. That was introduced in 2008. Then we had the iconic Little Big Planet series, which was released by Media Molecule in 2008. This game was sold with a lot of PS3 consoles as an exclusive. But also we had PlayStation Plus, which came out in 2010, and then some other sort of tech. So we had the stereoscopic 3D movies and games with the PlayStation glasses. They're the goggles that you bought. That was 2010. And then also the PlayStation Move motion controller, which probably brought up a lot of questions in some households as to what its purpose was. That was released in 2010. And shortly after, we seen some of our favorite games, The Last of Us, Naughty Dog 2013, and Grand Theft Auto 5, which to this day is still a very, very popular game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember, and it sucks, I cannot remember the name of the band, but I used to listen to this band, and they were really obscure and really good and really goofy. And then I remember hearing it in Target one time. I'm like, why are these guys playing on the TV? And I looked over, and it was an advertisement for Little Big Planet, and I'm like,
I want.
It was like one of those things. Because it was like one of those things where it's like, how did this band, like somebody was just a fan of this band, and like it'd be perfect for the trailer.
Right,
and
right.
They, it was just really cool to see that.
Yep.
And the game was amazing too.
Yep. Then we seen the introduction of our second handheld, the PS Vita, which came out 2011 in Japan, 2012 in US and Europe. And it quickly became the most powerful handheld console on the market when it was released. It featured a sparkling 5-inch OLED touchscreen with analog sticks as well, and a rear touchpad for additional control. With that came the release of Uncharted Golden Abyss by Bend Studio in 2011, and then in 2012 we seen Gravity Rush, which was also a very popular game. Two others, Tearaway, Media Molecule 2013, and Killzone Mercenary by Guerrilla Cambridge in 2013, also very popular games on the PS Vita. Dave, you've got the Vita and the PSP. What did you like better? Which one?
I like the as far as the console itself, the Vita was better. The PlayStation Portable Library, I think at the time, was really good, and the Vita was different. But honestly, to me, the Switch took a lot of the Nintendo Switch took a lot of, I think, cues from the Vita. Like the Vita is still like, you can play a lot of like really good games in there. Like I have all of the Ratchet and Clanks, all of the Sly Coopers, all of like Jack and Daxter, like all of these old like PlayStation games playing on there. You said Tearaway, and Tearaway was trying to use some of the features. So like it was one of those games it's trying to use up all the gimmicks, and so there's a back touchpad on there, and it used the camera. It has a camera on the front of it, but what it used it for is it recorded your face while you were playing, and when you looked at the sun, you saw your face. And so at the end credits, it's like, and this is your, the story was like, because it's all crafted things, kind of like Little Big Planet. It's like, and this is your maker who's seen you all the way. And then you look at your face and you're like,
got this like Teletubbies thing going
I was
on.
gonna ask, Teletubbies baby.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Oh,
but
goodness.
except the baby's all grown up now and kind of disgusting and like.
I use the Vita most for remote play on the PlayStation 4. So I played a bunch of games through remote play. Shooters really don't work, but like That's how I beat Persona 5, because that's like a 100-hour game, and I certainly didn't sit on the couch for 100 hours. I definitely played it most nights trying to go to bed on my Vita.
That's great.
So you weren't sitting; you were just laying down.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Pretty much.
How many times did you drop it on your face?
I mean, I do that with the Switch now, so it's like,
Oh,
you know,
I hate
Switch
that.
is heavy, man.
yeah.
You need
And
one
your
of
nose
those
hits
those
the grenade
neck,
button.
You need one of those neck things with the clip, and then you can just.
Yeah, I need like headgear. I need like gamer gear.
I think that just hits a level of laziness.
I
want
feel
gamer
like
gear.
you've invented
You'd be
a
like,
new
you could-
product. I'm waiting for the Kickstarter.
no, you just cut a hole in a cardboard box and then like a dome for your neck part, and then you just put the box over your head, and you put your thing on your Switch
Yeah,
and then you can
like,
just
Yeah. I'm with you.
yeah
I'm with you, Pinder.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need
together.
you don't need
Together, we
fancy
will
mounts.
control the minds of millions
You don't need fancy
with
mounts.
our gamer gear.
You just dig through the trash. You might find a $500,000 console. Who knows? Anyways, 2013 was the year when we seen the release of the PlayStation 4. Now, this was a new type of console that introduced very high dynamic range for vibrant visuals, integrated streaming, and also social media features for sharing all of those important gaming moments. We also seen the introduction of PlayStation's most comfortable DualShock controller, the DualShock 4.
I really liked the DualShock 4. That was a good controller.
Which was a wireless controller, but also customizable. So you can pick and choose colors that you wanted. Dave's got his DualShock there. And
If I raise my eyebrows, it can go up as well. See, this is the kind of podcast quality content that people
just
love.
can't-
It's me
you
doing
can't get
sight
this anywhere
gags.
else.
Are you auditioning for
Santa
Splinter
Claus
Cell?
conquers the Martians.
Yes. What? Now I'm the. I look like a very. I don't like how that looks.
I was
Actually,
gonna say
at
you're
all.
out of a
I don't
Kojima
like how
game
that
at this
looks.
No, you're gonna start selling bathwater soon.
Yes. Podcast listeners, you will have to watch the video for him to see me put a PlayStation controller on my head like I'm a 13-year-old.
Anyways, yes. I don't know how to follow that. In 2013, we also seen the release of the PlayStation Camera, which allowed for video broadcasting, voice commands, and facial recognition to let users log into their PS4. But also, there was 2 highly sensitive cameras on this piece of tech, and that allowed for the use of PlayStation VR as well. And then in 2014, we seen sort of a revamped PlayStation catalog called PlayStation Now, which included AAA games, indie games, cult classics, etc. And then also your tried and true that you've seen on PS3 and PS4. 2015, we seen the introduction of Bloodborne from Software. And then following that, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, Naughty Dog 2016. And then the introduction of PlayStation VR, which was sort of a big deal. And I'm surprised that they don't market this as a console itself, but it kind of isn't because it works with the console. So I think.
Yeah. You have to have the console and you have to be tethered.
They work together. So
buy a Quest if you're gonna do that.
yeah, right? Like why? Anyways,
Same power.
And then in 2016, they released the PS4 Pro, which was sort of a supercharged console that brought out 4K and then also additional HDR. With that came the Horizon Zero Dawn release, which a lot of people really loved on that console as well. 2017 also brought GT Sport by Polyphony Digital and God of War by Santa Monica Studios, their second version. And then, of course, Kojima Productions, Death Stranding 2019. That was one of a very popular game that
It's a great game.
that
All
was
about
noted as
mail.
well. So that's sort of a brief walkthrough of Sony's consoles. And that brings us to the PlayStation 5, which we haven't had a chance to talk about because we don't know what it's about. And we're looking for a resident expert to share that experience with us. And with us today, we've got Dave, who's going to talk about that.
Who's our resident?
Who's our resident
The resident.
expert in PS5. Yes. Which
Yeah, I was jokingly leaving off the word expert.
right.
But-
The resident. Yeah,
Resident.
I like that.
Resident.
I was trying.
I like it.
Okay.
like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's segue into what we're playing. Dave, take it away. Tell us about the PS5. Tell us about the video games you've been playing. Tell us all the things.
First, my first impression of the PlayStation 5 is a lot of people were saying how giant it is. That's the whole thing about these new consoles is the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are honkers. Like they're big old boys, as we call them back in our neck of the woods. And it really isn't that big. I don't know.
Got a pretty USB port.
It got a big old USB-C.
No, Rick.
USB-A. It's got internet capability.
And you don't need a furnace anymore. You can heat your whole house with just one console running.
I saw their the takedown video of where they had this an engineer essentially disassembled the PlayStation 5, and the majority of the space in the PlayStation 5 is literally just heat reduction. It's just places for air to go and fans. Like
We've talked about that quite extensively on a past episode of Gamestack, is how much work went into preserving airflow within this console specifically. But
right. So I have it behind my TV. I don't have it in a very good, like my PlayStation would get jet engine-y, my PlayStation 4 where I had it. And I haven't heard any jet engine stuff from this, but then again, this is 1 month as opposed to the several 5 or 6 years that I had the PlayStation 4. So it doesn't put out very much heat. It's not as big as people are saying. It fits behind on my like real small area. It's good. It can fit where it needs to fit. That's what I'm trying to say.
okay.
Moving
Does
on.
it purify the air? More importantly,
I have yet to go breathe, but let me go over there and breathe a little bit more heavily, like take it in, and see how it feels. I have a feeling that I am going to be even more addicted to Sony. I think it's like I said, like the Disney chemicals, and then I'm going to have
Sony chemicals.
It's the Sony chemicals, and then everything has to be Spider-Man in my life. I have to wear the Spider-Man underoos. I have to wear all of the Spider-Man things. My house will just become Spider-Man.
I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if they sold like a little slide-in compartment filter to turn it into an air purifier, or like Sensei or something? Oh,
this one is data-driven cherry. And this one is,
fresh pine.
GPU.
Fresh plastic smell.
I mean, it's been done before with Xbox, in their whole Xbox body deodorant thing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wonder what happened with that.
Probably nothing good. So top level to me, this console feels like that they are really trying to go for what Macintosh has done for computers and iPhones. They are really, I guess, trying to change up their UI a little bit. So it's a little bit actually clunkier than the PlayStation 4, from my opinion, just with the customization. But it's easier to get into things that you want to play. Every screen, like instead of it just being like, this is, Fallout 76 or this is Red Dead Redemption, there's a picture that fills up the entire screen of like, this is your game that you're about to play, and it's playing music. It's ready to go from that perspective. It's always interesting going into a new console because it's always hard to figure out, I think, UIs. It's just like when you go to somebody else's computer and they have it set up a little bit differently, and you're just trying to open Microsoft Word and you just want to like do a little
The
diddly or
start
something.
bar's on the other side of the screen.
It's on the top or the right.
What
yeah.
are you doing?
Right. So it kind of feels like that. Takes some getting used to.
Okay.
This whole SSD thing, where they're like, the PlayStation 5 has an SSD, to which I was like, and every computer now has SSDs. I don't know what is so exciting about this. But apparently their SSD is like, it's like high class, baby SSD. It's like highbrow. Didn't know that this SSD was so fanciful, but that means that everything loads incredibly fast. Like to get to start in a game, getting to load into a level, when you die in a game, like it's like there may be a load screen, but the load screen is not even like all of those tips and stuff that you would see. You don't get the tips anymore. You just like go back right into it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, how am I going to make my coffee now? I'm going to have to do it before I start? That's an outrage.
The moment you go down to be like, I'm going to check my phone, it's ready to go.
That's great.
With optimized games. Like if you're playing backwards compatibility, it's different depending, but it's very fast. The only problem is along with this speed comes storage. So there's only like 800 gigabytes worth of storage on the console itself. And one game can be up, like I think Cyberpunk is going to be like 99 gigabytes or something like that. I think I saw that recently.
So you have like 8 games.
So, yeah. And it's dependent on what the game is. It seems like Sony first-party games are more optimized for the system. And it's just like with Nintendo. I think that, and overall, I think that when I said that they're looking at Macintosh for UI, I think Sony as a video game company is looking at Nintendo for direction.
Interesting.
Because they are now very focused on their brand of games. You're starting to see this in like they're making that Uncharted movie. They're having the Last of Us HBO show. They just cast Oscar Isaac, and he's so good looking as Solid Snake for their Metal Gear Solid movie.
He's going to be a great Solid Snake.
Ew!
I just want to rub, my beard is nothing in comparison to Oscar Isaac's. I just want to get in there. I'm going to like, can I rub that beard oil on his face? He's so delicious.
I think I need to bring back the stash.
Yeah. I think that they are very protective over their IP and see it as an IP across not just PlayStation but their company in general. But back on the hard drive situation, it's very limited, and you can have an external hard drive connected to it and put save data and old PlayStation 4 games on there.
Right.
The problem is people have been having problems with that. So people have been trying to play a PlayStation 4 game on their external console or external hard drive, and it's crashed their whole console. And some people's have gotten bricked because of this bug with it. So if you were thinking of, I'll just buy, an external hard drive like I had, you could do that with the PlayStation 4. I would not recommend. Do not. Yeah.
There's some finicky stuff that I remember reading about that the external hard drives weren't necessarily meant to play games off of on this system.
No.
Yes.
But I mean, think of all the kids or all the people.
Think of the kids.
Think of the children. All the people who are going to be opening up their consoles on Christmas Day, and instead of starting the download and then not being able to play until after Christmas dinner, it's going to be like instant. All day you'll be able to play.
Yeah, the thing about and I'm going to kind of get into this. The thing about this console is I don't think this console is for kids. And I'm not saying that because I'm some, over 18 elitist here, I'm not coming from that perspective, but this console is for adults. I don't think it's for kids. Moving on, and I'll come back to that point. That's my lead-in argument. That's a teaser, a little taste of something. My hot take that you'll get a little bit later.
Okay. I love appies.
Expandable storage within the hard drive itself is apparently coming.
Yeah.
They're having to look at what SSDs are up to the high grade of SSDs that they have stocked. So apparently that is eventually
but the SSDs are going to be proprietary. Like you're only going to be able to buy a certain type of SSD that is approved for or whatever, and it's probably going to be really expensive, more expensive than the conventional SSDs.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like when buying a BMW kind of,
Right. You got to take it to the BMW shop to get the BMW parts, to get all the different things onto it. You'll be able to find that stuff forever, but it's also going to be really expensive to get any of that stuff. Yeah. This has been Car Talk, the most famous podcast in the entire world.
I'm Click. Nobody else listens to that. Okay, never mind.
It's the #1 podcast in the world. We got to have somebody. One person will get that joke.
Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers. I love that podcast.
Well, I'm
That's good.
See,
That's
I'm
good.
glad you guys are.
That's good.
Anyways,
Me and Rick
continue.
share a wavelength sometimes. We're like,
Different
Pennsylvania and West Virginia are right
wavelength
beside each other.
continuum.
Yeah. Mm,
We're on top. We're on
the best
top.
John Mayer album. The activity bar. Moving on from that. The activity bar is really interesting in this one because when you're playing a game and you press the PlayStation button or whatever it is, like the home button, it brings up the things that you're doing. So it'll know what level you're in. It'll know what things are in your level, what percentage of the quest you're doing. Like if you're 60% through this quest, it'll tell you that you are.
That sounds wonderful.
Oh, Shalene is salivating.
Yes.
I want a
Collectibles.
PS5 now.
Didn't you buy 3 of them? Oh no, that was
No,
Xbox.
The Xbox.
no.
Yeah.
Only 2.
Well, we always say 3 because it makes her feel worse.
Yeah.
So this bar I think is really interesting from probably the best addition that they have as far as like the UI itself, where it'll tell you how much time you have left in quests. So if you are
That's great.
an adult that it's like, I gotta make dinner at 6:30 and I don't know if I want to start this next thing in Miles Morales. You look at it, you're like, okay, I've only got 10 minutes left, so I'm good. It's 6:20.
That's great.
Dinner's at 6:30. Yeah,
Man.
it's really nice.
I
And
want
then-
that so much. That sounds wonderful.
Mhm.
So I was reading an article, and I should have the article, but I'm just a resident. I'm not an expert. I had an article that essentially had a focus group from Sony that talked about what are some of the barriers to playing games and getting back into games, and they said their biggest thing is time management of being an adult and managing time, and how much time do I have to play this game. So something like The Witcher 3, as opposed to something like Call of Duty, it's like, well, Call of Duty I know is get in, get out,
Right.
but The Witcher 3 is like, I've got to sit down, I've got to have this stuff. And then coming back to a game after a long time, and I do this all the time where I'm like, what was I doing? How did I
No
play
memory of
this?
place.
And so this was their answer to that, that it essentially tracks your progress throughout the game. If you're in a level, like in Demon Souls, if you're in a level and you want to go to a different one, you can just click on the activity bar from like the PlayStation itself and say, hey, I want to go to this different level. It'll just take you there, which is insane to me.
Ah, that's so
Um,
cool.
In stuff like Little Big Planet, where there's a lot of collectibles and you're missing some, it'll know what you're missing in that level. And then with some of the games, particularly all of the Sony PlayStation games, it has built-in hints, written and video. And you can put the hint video in like side by
From
side with
picture?
your actual video. And so, and it's not even like this is how to do it. It'll show you like 3 different videos. The first one is like this leads you to like the start of where that is. The second one's it's like this solves the first part for this. So it's just enough information for you not to like entirely spoil the thing. To me, that is where I come back to my hot take, in that this console, and if you're thinking about going into next gen, respects your time. I have never felt more respected of my time from a piece of plastic and wire. Like the amount of time I have to play is it's been a lot here recently, and the new normal and the COVID times, just because video games are great and lovely, and I have more time at home than ever. But normally it's sporadic, and it's at a weird time. It's like, it's Tuesday and I don't have anything going on tonight, and from 8 to 10 I can play a video game, and so I can just jump in there. Or maybe it's on a day where it's like it's 4 o'clock, I got back from work, I got something to do at 5, but I just want to jump in and play a little bit. With the load times, with the activity bar and all of this tracking and stuff, you can play something super big. Like you can play The Witcher 3, you could play Demon Souls, you could play these big games and not feel lost all the time. So I think that is like, these features are not built for children,
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think
it's starting?
Do you think this marks the end of the load screens?
I still think it will be there in some form. Some video games I think are going to have to load because, like, your big your big games that aren't optimized, and listen, I'm talking about Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Some big games, and not games that are optimized, like like The Witcher 3, that's gonna have no loading screens when it comes out on PlayStation 5. Some of the bigger RPGs, I think that you're gonna have some loading screens, but they're not gonna be a minute long loading screens.
Yeah. God, I remember the days you'd boot up Vice City or even GTA 5, and it's just like,
Yeah,
it was like a good 4 to 6 minutes.
Start it up, go make some coffee, come back. Did it freeze? Is it on a loop?
Should I restart it?
What?
Yeah, and then it's like the same picture that you saw before, and you're like, wait a second, hold
Did
up.
it rotate back?
Did it scroll through? Yeah.
Is it moving? I can't tell. Is it moving?
So that's kind of my thoughts on the console itself, but I did want to take a minute to point out the most next gen feeling thing, if there is like a next gen, and it is the controller.
Oh,
The controller is the best controller. It's just the best.
Careful.
It's the best controller.
No.
It's the best controller.
Did you invent it? Did you create it?
It's
Dave has all the words.
I've been over there
he has the
breathing in
best
front of that
words.
PlayStation 5 for a little bit. So I'm starting to get a little bit. It's the best controller, and that's just
So what makes what are
can't do
its
more
features?
What makes it?
First of all, when I took it out of the box, my friends, it was heavier than the DualShock.
Okay, rather weighty. Huh?
It's a little bit weightier. Feels nice if you zoom in. If you zoom in with your eyes, this is computer talk. You can see that they have little PlayStation symbols like embossed.
that's real?
Yes, I've seen people post this on Reddit.
It's there, and it's inside of the PlayStation system itself.
Oh,
on
that's
some of the
adorable.
plastic, which I think is kind of cool.
Little tiny triangles and circles.
It's cool to have the speaker back again. I think that they have done better job with the PlayStation 5 release games of utilizing speakers and controllers. That's been a thing that's happened, but it's nice to have a microphone in the controller as well, because oftentimes I'm just sitting on the couch, and let's say I have a buddy that wants to play a round of Fortnite or something, like my brother-in-law or something, and I get on there. I don't have to think about, where's my headset? Where's all my stuff? Where did it go? Which is, that's my inner monologue.
You can
voice,
literally
if you
play
know.
without a headset or a microphone.
That is
just
so
your controller.
cool.
Yeah, just the controller. Yep.
It's great.
Except it's also good to know it has a light. When you press, there's a microphone button. So when you press it, there's a light on, and that tells you that you're muted. So if the light's on, you're good. But if the light's off, that means you're unmuted. So then I was playing Fallout 76, and I was just like, oh, so, what are you doing with the dinner tonight? How long does that take? Can you go out and take the trash out? Like, and then I turn into that guy. I turn into that guy immediately. So know when that's happening. The rumble in the controller. It turns out that it's the same company that did the Joy-Con rumble, like the actual where they were like, oh, it feels like you're really milking the cow. And you had the 1-2 switch.
Yes. Guess how many ice cubes are in the glass?
Feel the ball in there. Where's it? How many balls are in your Joy-Con?
It's real. No.
Yeah. That feels great.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
It does.
This is the best episode we've ever done on this show.
I'm here to bring the expert knowledge of just a resident and the chaos of a chaos god. Okay, so I have a visual diagram here, but I will also explain to it. This is like audiovisual cues. So normally in a controller, it's just like you feel that rumble.
For our audio listeners, he's shaking around the PS4 controller.
Right, but in the dual sense, it's in many places. The rumble is different. It is different. It's like, okay, rumble before was just like Bud Light. Okay, listen to me. No, rumble before was Bud Light. This is a world of wine. Like there is a taste to this rumble, and I'm not over here like hyping it up, screwing with you. These are my actual thoughts. This is my opinion. You can feel that, like, sometimes I will fire a gun and there will just be rumble in the trigger area, just itself.
Incredible.
And let's say something flies past you on like your right side, you will feel the rumble go all the way down, like as it flies past you. which
So
I
it's
think is really cool.
dynamic.
Dave, you have sold me a PlayStation this evening.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
So that is really cool. The
Okay.
whole rumble. Sometimes like if there's rain or something, you hear it. Then the adaptive triggers, which are great. Although my wife, who has a little bit of arthritis pain because now we're older and we have arthritis pain, it hurts her a little bit sometimes on this adaptive triggers when we're trying to play Sackboy. Anyways,
No.
guns
Yeah.
and bows, swords, heavier objects. It's crazy when you're playing like a platform and you go to lift something and there's like a slight resistance and there's something heavier and it's more resistance. You're like it tricks your brain a little bit. You're like, wait a second.
Wow.
Or like when you start a ship in No Man's Sky and you go to launch it and it's like it's taken off and you feel it like it is literally a car engine that you've turned on. It goes and like it's like vibrating against you with those balls on the controller. It is fantastic. It really is something with the combination of the rumble, the speaker, the adaptive triggers. It's the most immersive controller, and I think it is for people who don't want to invest in VR. I think that this is the most immersive that you can get without, strapping a screen to your face and calling it. So those are my top down. You have been previewed of the PlayStation.
So which games have you played? You've played No Man's Sky, Fallout 76?
Yeah, I know the way this show goes. So we can get into what we're playing if you so wish.
Oh,
Yes.
no,
I
actually
can
I
tell
was
you.
I forgot all about
it's-
that we were
it's-
doing a show at all.
That's a good. Yeah, that's
I
a
was
good,
just going to
that's
ask
a great-
you.
There's a segue that can happen if you wish it to. We can also not segue. But
Just
they're also-
roll right in.
Dave, this is your time slot, buddy. You do whatever
Okay.
you want to do.
So I've been playing a lot of games, and games are so fun, guys. Right?
Right?
Like, games are really.
We love games. We just love games.
Games are cool. What do I want to sell you on here? It's like, what do I want to? Okay, first of all, we have to talk about. I'm starting to think about this.
Meanwhile-
I'm coming at.
Meanwhile, Shalene's ordering a console right now.
Good luck finding one.
Good luck, yeah.
Right? Yeah, now I want one. I'm going to have to wait until like July.
Okay.
If you want, here's some advice. If you want to buy a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X and you're worried about stock options, here's my advice. Go follow a Twitter account called Wario64.
Oh,
That's
he's
like,
the best. I love that guy.
that is how I got mine.
Yes. That is
it
how I
was-
secured both of my X's as well. My Xbox Series
Both.
X's,
Right.
to be specific. Yeah.
Well, you know what you could also do is you could look on like Craigslist for air purifiers, and you
That's
might
true.
get lucky.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. So go follow Wario64 on Twitter, and he has, or I'm not even sure if it's a he or she. I don't,
It is
I
a
don't
he,
know. I don't
yeah.
know.
They.
I don't know.
They.
That's a great. Yeah. There you go. They have really up to date information and let you know as soon as the stuff is live. So I got one of my PlayStation 5s. I got it from Target, and it sold out within the next 2 minutes after I got it, and it was live only for 1 minute.
Jesus.
So it was like, it's like that. Stuff disappears. So, games that I've been playing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me start with, and I'm coming at you with a lot of hyperbole today, but it's hyperbole that I stand behind. Let me tell you about the best pack-in game ever. So you thought, oh yeah, the joys of Wii Sports. Remember that? You had your boxing glove, you had your golf club. Friends would come into your house and you're like, hey, you want to play tennis and like try not to whack each other in the head? And then you do whack somebody in the head, or you don't have your strap on right, and then you break your controller.
or your
well-
TV.
Yeah. See
Yeah.
that done.
This one's better.
Okay.
Astro's Playroom is the best Nintendo game on a PlayStation. It is a platformer called Astro's Playroom, where you play as a character called Astrobot. And Astro's Playroom takes place entirely inside of the PlayStation 5. The hub area is literally the inside of a PlayStation 5. And you see, if you're at the bottom and you see how tall it goes up, and you see all the little GPUs, CPUs, all of that different stuff, and they're each levels that are their own, I guess, Mario levels. and feels a lot like Mario Galaxy to me.
Okay.
It's meant to showcase the controller. So it'll take you through areas that are raining, and it feels like it's raining on your controller, which is weird to say, but that's how it feels. You take control of different like kinds of robots. Like there's a ball, and you're rolling around on a trackpad, you've got like your trackpad here, and you're rolling the ball around. You know how one does when you're rolling the balls. It's a lot of balls talk tonight. Moving on. There's different surfaces, and you can feel whether you're in the sand, whether you're in the mud, whether you're in the water, or whether it's like really rocky terrain. Like you feel that in the rumble, and that's really cool. There's like a spring section where you turn into Spring Man, not from ARMS, but from Astro's Playroom. That is also so incredibly fantastic. It is a collectathon, so you're collecting coins. All of the major collectibles, like stars and Mario's, like oh, you got a star or the shine. I don't remember what the other things are.
Yeah. Moons.
It's all PlayStation memorabilia. So the entire PlayStation history segment that Vendor just said, you can find things like a PSP or a PSVR headset. All of it is collectible, and it gives you a 3D model that you can look around and look at. And it's like you can look at the Pocket PlayStation. Or Pocket Station, I think you called it. Like you can look at all of these like old weird things that they made for the consoles, and it collects them in a room. On top of that, as you go through the game, there's other robots that look like you that are in all the levels that are goofing off doing something, but they act out scenes from all across PlayStation games. So, for example, you will see the robot with a little red scar in his face with a young boy with a bow and a boat, and it's God of War. Or you'll see a guy with a samurai sword that is like chopping in this like field of flowers. It's like a little robot, and that's Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
It even goes older to like robots with a net, and then one of the robots has a little monkey tail, and they're playing Ape Escape. And you see this as you go through all of the levels. It is. I never thought that I had like weird nostalgia for PlayStation games, but that game really like has that idea that Sony is probably more like Nintendo now, where they have this IP, they have this library, they know what it is. Like they you can sell Mario, you can sell, Star Fox. Like you have all of these things in your roster, and this game really shows off that they think about it like that. They think about it like Nintendo. So that is a really great platform. It's short. I ended up getting a platinum trophy in it because it was just so fun. There's a bunch of different levels. I've had a really fantastic time with that. Moving on, because I've got a few things that I want to highlight here. Bug Snacks.
Right. We talked about that earlier.
Yes, the favorite Song of the Year candidate game. Talking about Bug Snacks. If you've seen the trailer, it's a delightful little pop song that they wrote with it. Did you all ever play Dark Cloud?
No.
Dark Cloud, it was an RPG in which you built a village, and this game is about building a village and collecting snacks through different traps, and it's delightful. It is a weird comedy in like Shrek. Like, you know how Shrek is like, oh, funny for kids, haha, we're all having a great time. But then there's adult jokes.
Yeah, there's like underlying.
The underlying things in that game is a real acid trip. Like, there is some weird, strange stuff going on in that game, but it's all through this like kiddie lens as well.
Cool.
It's very interesting. And if you
it.
pick up a PlayStation 5 around this time, you get it for free. Both of these games, Astro's Playroom and Bug Snacks, and they're worth playing.
Cool.
So let's talk about the heavy hitter here, which is I think their most marketed game, which is Spider-Man Miles Morales.
That's the new one.
That's the
new
new
one.
Spider-Man, the new. They haven't made a new yet, and this is after the new one. This is the new.
Okay. Now that we're clear.
Yes, now that you're clear. It's a better.
Shalene's gonna slap both of you. If she could reach out, augmented reality style, and just
She could do it. She would do it. Let me ask her about her 401k again. And then probably that's what happens. Spider-Man, the new one, so as in the first one that they made in Sony, felt like a Spider-Man game that like you were going through and swinging through the city, and you had all of the villains you love, like, oh, I'm Electric Man, and here's the Rhino, and here's Scorpion, and oh no, Scorpion has captured the Daily Bugle, and he's gonna tear it all down. Like, it felt comic booky to me.
Okay.
Where it was like a rotating series of characters. The city itself didn't have a lot of life into it. It felt like that you were just swinging around a model in New York. And I like games that have an investment in their location, and Spider-Man Miles Morales does, because it is centered around Harlem, and that's your neighborhood, and you are helping, like, somebody stole from the bodega, and you got to go there and talk to the dude, and they're like, yeah, the robbers took off this way, and you got to go chase them down. Or like, hey, the homeless shelter lost their water utility, so you need to literally go to the pump stations and the sewage areas to make sure that everything is clear and powered on. Like, you're doing city infrastructure problems. Like, you are trying to work on the city itself, so it feels more grounded in that. The characters feel better because they're grounded. So you have this kind of cast of friends that Miles Morales, who is the new Spider-Man on the block. I guess you really don't need to play the other Spider-Man to really know what's going on, because Spider-Man is Spider-Man. He's got the webs. He's got the webs. He's got the shooters. He's shooting them out into the world, swinging around, having a great time. That's my best New York accent, and you won't get any better.
It's fine. It was good. Passable.
So, to me, it's like, if you're gonna do New York and you're gonna like come into it, you've got to put some love into actual New York. And frankly, the only other game that when I think about like love put into what New York is, what the people are, is the Division 1, which is wild to say, because I know that you all play a bunch of Division. What did you think of their representation of New York particularly?
It's great.
It was really good. It was
good.
excellent.
From what I understand of New York, I've never
been to New York, so I can't say no.
Just from a city and how it understands. I live in a very small city, but there is a culture here that is inherent, and you got to come at it like that. Like, it can't be a backdrop that you just do stuff in. You have to understand.
Alive inside of that kind of desolate game.
Right. You kind of have to understand that, and I think that Spider-Man Miles Morales does. Overall, of how it utilizes the PlayStation 5 to be better. There's a little bit of a resistance on the web slinging. It didn't really do much with the controller from my perspective. It starts the main thing with next gen is there's 2 game modes for every game: performance and resolution. And one mode can do 4K 30 FPS, and the other one can do 1080 60 FPS essentially, or a dynamic, what they call it, like a dynamic. So it can do like, sometimes it's 4K, sometimes it's 2K, sometimes it's 1K and a bag of gold or something. So what that has done, and if you compare both of the modes, like if you go from a resolution mode, which apparently has the ray tracing, which has all the different like you can see the reflection of the taxis off in the water, which I think is really cool graphically. But playing a game at 60 FPS as opposed to 30 FPS is like a whole world of difference.
It really is.
Huge difference.
And it's ruined me. Like, because I've been playing on a base PlayStation 4, so I haven't noticed this stuff.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Why does 60 FPS matter? Like, I understand like the science of it, like it shouldn't matter, but it does. Things look better at 60 FPS, and it's not even like 4K and 1080. Like, you don't really, to me, you don't need a 4K TV to get a really great looking game off the PlayStation 5. 60 FPS in these games just looks excellent. I can't believe it. I can't believe that I can see it now. But now, anytime I go to play the Switch or something, or I try to play like Breath of the Wild or like something that isn't that, I'm like, why does this look bad? Why is everybody running around? Like,
filth.
when I jump, I like jump and I'm like, like it doesn't look good. And it's switching between those modes through performance. There's no need to go to resolution. Like being able with his move set where all the animations are very Spider-Man-esque, where you're swinging through the city, playing at 60 FPS is great. To kind of wrap up, we're gonna do a quick. We'll do a quick fire round, and then I'll have one last game for you. No Man's Sky looks great. 4K 60 FPS is like the ideal thing. Planets look great. You guys know No Man's Sky. I love No Man's Sky. I'm in your Discord talking about No Man's Sky. Look at this planet with the cute little creatures and funny little light bulbs on it. Great time. If you ever want to play, I love that it's cross-gen. Excellent game. Sackboy's Big Adventure is the best Little Big Planet game. I haven't liked any of the Little Big Planet games, but I like this Little Big Planet game because guess what Sackboy's Big Adventure is? It's Mario 3D World for the PlayStation. And Mario 3D World is a great game. And it's much the same.
Nice.
It also has a really great soundtrack. That sounds weird, but somehow I feel like I'm Owen Wilson and I'm talking to you guys in my Owen Wilson voice. It has a really great soundtrack and uses Sony Music Entertainment has this like library of very popular songs. So you're gonna hear like Jungle Boogie and Uptown Funk, and all of the things in the level are going to be synced to that music, like those like ending Rayman levels in Legends and Origins.
Yes, those were so good.
Yes, and it is the same in Sackboy's Big Adventure where. Me and my wife play that all the time. It's we love the Lego games, and it's like that but better.
Nice.
Go play that. What else do I have? Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed. I've played that. I have played Watch Dogs Legion on that. The only thing about it is it loads faster. I could go in more depth on these, but I'm just kind of rolling out here to the end. The Pathless is a game from the producers of some of the people who made Journey, which is another great game. It's very relaxing, has a nice world. Feels like Shadow Colossus, but more cartoony, more fun. Has a nice soundtrack. Very pleasant experience. And I think that's all I've played, except for my final one, which I'm here to pitch you all.
You've already sold Chilean on the PlayStation 5, so...
I wanted to talk to you about Demon Souls. So, okay. First, I've said a Souls game, so you're thinking, okay, all right, yeah. It's a hard game.
Uh-oh.
I don't have time for this.
Oh, no.
My free time.
Uh-oh. My Zoom crashed. We're still live though.
Okay.
Are
We're
we?
still live.
Okay.
Yes,
We're still live.
All right. I didn't. I'm sorry. I
It's fine. Keep going, Dave. I will handle the rest.
You were fine. Okay. My pitch on Demon Souls here. Demon Souls is the first of the Souls game in the Soulsborne series, which I like that the games are so iconic that they have their own genre that they're calling Soulsborne, which I think is funny. I was a big fan of Dark Souls. I played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, played Bloodborne. And over the break, I managed to beat all of the bosses from the mainline series, except for the bosses in Sekiro, which is a much harder game in the series. However, I'm here today to talk to you all about Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls is the most accessible of the Soulsborne games. So if you're thinking, Dark Souls seems hard. You know what? If you play Demon's Souls and you play it all the way through, you can play any of the Souls games. This is your entryway ticket. I'm Willy Wonka, and this is your golden ticket. Like, we're going to get on the boat, and it's going to be a little crazy at first, you know? Like, you go down that little tunnel, and there's all those flashing pictures and craziness, but then when you get to the end, you're at the chocolate rainbow. Great time. The fidelity of this game. This is... I think I've broken everyone tonight. I think everyone is individually broken.
Keep going. Keep going. This is
We
great.
were already broken before you
Yeah.
got here. You're good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. The fidelity of this game. This is the best looking game that I've played in general. Like the amount of work that it's a remake of an old PlayStation 3 game called Demon Souls, and it's rightfully named Demon Souls. That's the new version. The environments are incredible. Like when you go into photo mode and you zoom in and stuff, everything is detailed. Your character's armor, like all the, like you can see the cloth, like the very tips of the fabric of the cloth on your little character. Like you can see where the leather is a little bit frayed, like on your little wristlet or what have you. The lighting, like to me, it feels like the next gen game. It's the reason I bought the console. With the faster loading times, normally in Dark Souls, when you die, you have a long loading screen, which is what I call the loading screen where you just stew about what you've done. And it's the time where you feel the worst about yourself.
What do you even think about what you've done?
It is the timeout corner of video games. And it's especially hard in Dark Souls when you have worked to do something and you have died. And then you're waiting and you're waiting. You're like, I know I got to go back to the beginning. But there's this other type of game called a roguelite that is very popular, that when you die, it's no big deal. It just immediately loads you right back. Demon Souls is more of a roguelite now because of the power of the PlayStation 5 and that SSD of just loading right in. When you die, it says, you're dead. Back at it again. There's no time to feel sad about yourself. You don't have time to feel sad about yourself. You have some demons to slay, my friend. The one thing that I think a lot of people talk about is how hard the bosses are in the series. Like, oh, I got to this boss and I just couldn't do it. I could kill the enemies on the way, but I just couldn't kill the boss. Every boss in this game, which is a shorter game, it's way shorter than Dark Souls. It's probably half the length of Dark Souls just because it was made earlier. The worlds are very much set up like original Mario games, where it's like, this is world 1-1 and 1-2, and then over here is world 2-2. Like there is a progression to it all. So each of the bosses has a gimmick. So you don't really need to be good at playing the game to beat the bosses. You just have to figure out what you have to do to kill bosses. And there's context clues. So like you run into a boss that's this big warrior with a giant sword and he's flying all over the place, but he's wearing a blindfold. And you found this ring earlier that makes you quieter to sound. So you can literally sneak around and like backstab this boss to kill him. You don't have to go toe-to-toe with him, block and dodge and roll and doing all this fancy stuff. Like you could just sneak around. There's giant manta rays flying in the sky for one of the bosses. There's a sword that you find there. It's called a storm sword. And when you essentially cast it or do the attack with it, it sends off this shockwave, and it's raining at the time, that blasts through all the rain. So the rain particles like literally dissipate when you do this because it's next gen or what have you. And that's how you kill it. Like it's not based on your particular skill. It's based on solving the puzzle of each of the bosses.
That sounds wonderful. It really does. If
you are sucking, like let's say you find this, like there's this one where everything poisons you. It's like Poison Town. It's like Pokemon gyms. Like this is the poison gym. And if you can have your character be really terrible against poison, and if you're sucking at that, you could go over and play the fire gym and play through those levels. Like you're not locked into where you are. You can maneuver between each of them at a time. I have done 3 full playthroughs of this game. I have the platinum trophy, which took a while, which at one point my wife was like, when are you going to be done with Demon Souls? AK saying, you need to wrap this up. You need to be done with Demon Souls. I've played through this 3 times now. And if you have, I did it without a guide for the first time because that's generally how I've done it, but that's because I've played others. If you want to play it and you have a PlayStation 5, which is rare at this point, it's worth playing. Just because of how different it is. you can find a number of different builds for your character so that you can be like Harry Potter mage. You can be more stuff than any of the Dark Souls games. Like I have a character that literally is all about regaining health. It's like you get hit and it just automatically gives you health back. Like there are ways to cheat this system so much that it reminds me of Skyrim with the amount of builds that you can have. Where my favorite thing to do in Skyrim is create this like insane character that has this one particular gimmick that breaks the game. There are a number of different combinations for Demon Souls, I think more so than any other of the Souls games. So that is my pitch on why you should play Demon Souls if you have ever been interested in Souls. Well, not, the Souls games. If you haven't been interested in it, don't be like, oh, this sounds like a walk in the park. Know that it's going to be a little hard, but it's not going to be that hard.
Nice.
So that's what I have been playing. I relinquished my time to the rest of the court.
You reclaim the rest of your time.
Yes.
Wow. Thanks for
Nice.
sharing your insights on PS5, Dave.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm here to ramble on forever.
Sounds like a promising console.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what the future brings.
Yeah.
To me, from a high level, it seems like Sony is trying to. Both companies, both Microsoft and Sony, are trying to have real brand synergy. So I think Xbox's main thing is their infrastructure. They have excellent infrastructure, and they are going to leverage that with their Games Pass, with their cloud, technology, with their multiple like their server infrastructure is just so much better. But PlayStation is utilizing now. They're starting to be like, hey, we're really good at just making video game worlds. What can we do around that? So your music is starting to get integrated. You're starting to have these video game movies, like, as we've talked about, sexy Oscar Isaac. They're seeming to get a part of this, like, okay, so we don't have the infrastructure that Microsoft has, but what can we do with what we've got? Right. And I think they're really rolling in with a good setup.
So what about has your wife played it with you?
Yeah, she originally was a skeptic of the controllers, and whenever I talk about haptic feedback, she's like, she pokes me in the side and she's like, that's called haptic feedback. That's what that means. What are you talking? Like, haptic feedback is just like, oh, I'm typing on the computer. So she was a skeptic of the controller. She found Astro's Playroom to be annoying to her. There were a lot of sounds. She doesn't like a lot of sounds in general. Yeah. So she has liked Little Big Planet when I have played that with her.
Great.
She's enjoyed that. She is probably she's a big fan of the Switch, though. But for PlayStation, she's the #1 fan for Spyro the Dragon. She loves that Spyro the Dragon.
One last question before we move on to Rick's gameplay. Would you say that the PS5 has moved away from this sort of family-based unit as a console, i.e. being able to play movies and games and music and everything, to more of just a video game console?
That's a good question. And it was interesting. I was originally going to pick up a digital edition, but when I got to pricing out Blu-ray players, and I was like, oh, that's going to be $150, or I can just get this version and be able to play my Blu-rays. So I just got the disc edition because that was the Blu-ray player, because for years, Sony game systems have been also the DVD player.
Yep.
And I think that was the best thing that PlayStation 2 did, was saying, hey, guess what? This is the DVD player.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect, but I really think that they're at a crossroads. I don't think that cooperative play is really a thing anymore. Little Big Planet is kind of the I guess an example for co-op and how that would work with the family. But like if I'm recommending systems for families to get, it's going to be a Switch every time. It's not going to be PlayStation. I don't have any experience with the new Xbox or with the Xbox One. Last one I had was the 360. But the PlayStation 5 feels like a gaming system for adults because it is respectful of your time.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
So it really feels like that it is more of a just a video game console than most other things.
Very
Well,
cool.
Rick,
Hmm.
what have you been playing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, Rook, I started playing my Xbox One. I've had it for a while, and I've been wanting to play Jedi Fallen Order because I had been watching The Mandalorian, and I was like, man, I really want to play some Star Wars games that I don't die every 5 seconds in because it's a PvP kind of game, i.e. Battlefront 2. So I know that EA Play has been connected to the Microsoft.
I forgot the name of it.
Xbox
Game Pass.
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass.
So EA Play has been added to it on the console, not on the PC yet. So I went downstairs and I looked, and sure enough, there's Jedi Fallen Order. Install. Forza 7. Why not? Install. And so I've been playing Forza 7. Great racing game. I didn't realize that the triggers had haptic feedback in the controller. Like they also do like not like maybe resistance, but like they also have like if you brake too hard and lock your brakes, the triggers vibrate a certain way on the Xbox One controller. And to me that was new because I'm always on PC. I'm like, oh, the triggers vibrate. And so that makes me really excited for like someday trying the PlayStation 5 and feeling the controller. But anyway, so I installed
That you get the balls in the controller as well.
right, the balls. So I booted up Jedi Fallen Order, and it looks great, looks good. It's like, this is a really cool game. Started playing it, and it's like, man, this is really nice. You know, it's like Drake's Uncharted Assassin's Creed meets Star
Yes,
Wars.
I find it a lot like Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. More so than Assassin's Creed. And it was fun. There's some weirdness to it that's like for instance, there's this one move where you do a 360 spin and you stab with your sword. Well, my character's leg, when he does that, his knee will bend backwards and then snap normal again. And you're like, I don't think that's supposed to be right. It cannot handle Xbox One cannot handle that game. The frame rate drop when you're fighting. So this is a game that's Souls-like in the sense that you have to dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge enemies and things. I was fighting one of the like shock troopers with the dual laser staff, but the frame rate kept lagging, so it would judder, and I'm like, I can't play this game if it's gonna freeze up ever so slightly when I'm supposed to dodge, because I don't know when I'm actually supposed to dodge. And so that kind of got a little frustrating. And then it went to like a cutscene, and like the resolution, like it wasn't loading in textures, and it kept freezing.
No.
And I'm like, well, I'm gonna reboot it. So I rebooted the console, and it was the same thing. I'm like, I don't think the console can handle the game well. Like it can't handle everything going on.
Right.
So I've been kind of hesitant to play it again, but I'm excited for that to come out on the PC because I got a new graphics card. You guys.
Wait a minute.
Um,
What?
I did. A friend of mine was on a waiting list for 3070, and he's like, "Hey, it popped," and I like threw cash at his face. I'm like, "Buy me the 3070," and so I got a brand new 3070.
Wait, did that mean you have to rebuild your PC too?
No, because
nice.
actually the only bottleneck that I had in my rig is my graphics card. The hard drives could use an update, but they're fine. But no, the processor and the RAM, they're all right. I want to jump
What
up
is
to
your CPU?
it's a 4790K i7.
Oh, okay.
It was like the highest it was pretty close to the highest tier you could get, and there's no point in getting. The only reason I should upgrade to a new chipset is because of the NMVE SSDs now, the ones that like snap on the motherboard, but that's too much money. I do want to get 32 gigs of RAM. I've only got 16, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so I popped in my graphics card, and I did this thing where like, what game should I try everything on Ultra? Because I run a 1090 by whatever monitor, so it'll run everything at that resolution, because it's like, what's this puny resolution? And so I booted the first game I booted up was Fallout 76. Like, I wonder what that looks like in Ultra. Pretty much the same as it
You've
did.
got way too much faith. Way too much faith.
The water looked great.
It looked a little bit better. Yeah.
It did
A lot of
but-
water. A real landlocked state here in West Virginia. That's
Well,
not exactly.
my camp is in a pond, so the pond looked very
Oh
nice.
yeah.
But so I was like, what am I doing? And I closed that down. I was like, Destiny 2 is going to be a great one. So like,
Oh,
I go
could
into
you see the
Destiny,
grass?
it ran so smooth. It was just like headshot, headshot, headshot. It was so nice. It was like because it's a smaller resolution. This card was built for 2K, 4K, high resolution stuff,
Mhm.
and I'm playing at a baby resolution. And it's running everything at super max, all ultra, and very smooth. And so the game felt a lot better. I can finally run it unlocked, frame rates. I still got to keep VSync on because my monitor can't handle. My monitor's refresh rate is too
Right,
slow for it to
right.
not be
Yeah.
VSynced. So Destiny 2 is great. I reinstalled Red Dead to try that again. And I remember trying to shoot stuff in Red Dead, even with a mouse, it always seemed a little janky to me. But when I set everything for ultra, I didn't crank everything up because it still used like Red Dead Redemption 2. If you crank everything, it uses like 7.5 gigs of GPU memory. It's
Oh my
stupid.
God.
It's crazy. And this is an 8 gig card, that just came out. So
Wow.
I set everything to ultra and then back down some of the advanced settings. And I have to switch back. There's like a graphics API that you can either pick Vulkan or DirectX 12. I need to go back to DirectX 12 because it's a little smoother. Anywho, I was shooting like it was smoother. Like the game runs just better.
That's
I played
great.
some Far Cry 5. That game looks great. Montana looks fantastic with everything cranked up to 11. Hunt
bet
even
that
more
looks good,
terrifying.
yeah.
Oh yeah, man, it looks great. I really want to get Tarkov because I hear Tarkov looks really good, and I'm excited for Cyberpunk 77 that I'll actually be able to play it efficiently. Although I think I got to make a little room on my solid state drive because I want to put it on that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun to play these games after installing Red Dead Redemption 2. So this was the thing. I installed Red Dead Redemption 2, and I turned everything all the way up. I turned everything to
that's
ultra, went
great.
down into the advanced settings, turned everything up, even like the fur, put it on ultra, and I loaded it in. And I guess because it's not on a solid state drive, it's on a normal hard drive. It's not the new chipset. It's Arthur Morgan loaded in. Hey, what are you doing, boy? His hat was there. His coat was there. His head wasn't there, but his eyeballs were there.
Assassin's
Oh,
Creed
I hope-
Unity.
And I was like, oh no.
I hope you got screenshots of
I d-
this.
It was super quick, so no. And like the coats wouldn't load in right. It would load, it was loading things super slow. 'Cause it was rendering them,
Did he like get on his horse and then the horse started riding away, but he like
No,
the horse
no.
stayed there, but he went like levitating across the
No. It
T-posed on the horse.
It was not. Yeah. It did not look the best. So I turned some things down, and it still looks really, really good.
man.
It's just I can't
I'm
see.
jealous.
It's just I can't see the little individual molecules in the water that
Well, and I
um,
mean, your last graphics card was like a 970 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, you jumped like
Three
generations.
3 generations.
Three? Ooh.
Yeah. So there was the 970. I skipped the 10 and the 20, and now I'm at the 30. So this is the third generation up from from where I was at, and it is a huge difference in just the smoothness of the game.
Man, I wonder how your water will look in Sea of Thieves now.
Dude, so I started that up and it's like, you have a corrupt install.
No.
And I had to uninstall it. So I'm going to reinstall it again because I really want to see what Sea
Yeah.
of Thieves looks like. I
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
really do. I've been hankering for the ocean.
And No
so
Man's
bad.
Sky, how does that look?
It looks about the same. I mean, that game, it looks great from the get-go. They've really,
Yeah.
I think, optimized the game in a way where it looks good kind of no matter what. The only thing I will say that the game never runs smooth, in my opinion. It's never a smooth, like, performing game. It's always a little, I don't know. I can't really explain. It's not like Destiny smooth.
Yeah.
It's very much in a Fallout realm of like movement. It's not, if you turn real fast, it can sometimes go, oh, okay, now we're turning.
Yeah.
I cranked everything up, and the one thing I will say that it does, everything looks smoother. Everything looks a little more sharper. But like the shadows and the grass detail is all pretty much what I'm used to. But the cockpit looked really nice. The surfaces and textures looked really nice. But again, I'm just like cranking everything. I'm
great.
not really like optimizing. But yeah, so I've just been spending a lot of time playing Jedi Fallen Order or Forza, and then oh, real quick, one of the coolest Star Wars moments I've ever had in Fallen Order happened. And my daughter, I love her to death, but she's in this very empathetic phase where she can't watch Clone Wars because some of the death scenes are too up close. There was like a moment where like a worm was shoved down someone's throat, and she's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm out of here." She doesn't watch Mandalorian now because like somebody got stabbed and you saw it, and so she's not cool with it. But boy, howdy, does she love some Jedi Fallen Order. Oh boy, she loves that game. She loves watching me like throw people because it's like more arcadey. So she's sitting next to me, and we fly into Kashyyyk, and I didn't know this, but she loves Wookiees. She loves Chewbacca. That's her favorite Star Wars character. And so we flew into Kashyyyk, and there's a character from one of the movies who I wasn't expecting to see. Shalene, have you gotten to Kashyyyk?
No, I'm actually still on Zepho.
Really? Okay. Anyway, so that was the sixth Marx brother, Zepho. Anyway, so on Kashyyyk, you fly in and you jump in the water, and as you're swimming towards this battle, 3 AT-ATs go and stand up out of the water, and they're like covered in like moss and stuff, and they just start walking, and then like Clone Wars ships are flying and shooting and stuff because this game takes place after the Clone Wars. So the Empire's kind of succeeded in controlling most of the galaxy and whatnot. And anyway, so your objective is to hijack an AT-AT. And so there you are climbing up on these moss bits on this AT-AT, and it's like Shadow of Colossus has trained me for this, And it was funny. So you get in the AT-AT and you're walking and you're shooting, blowing other stuff up. And as I like blew apart another AT-AT, like my daughter's like, "Yay!" and she's clapping. It was so exciting to her, and I thought that was one of the coolest Star Wars moments. Like, not only did I get to like see the interior of an AT-AT and hijack one, she's like all excited. It was so cool. So when you get to that part in Kashyyyk, it's amazing.
Great.
And that's when the Xbox decided to go, "I can't handle this game anymore."
Too cool.
Yes,
too cool.
All right, so Vendor, what have you been playing?
I'm gonna reclaim the balance of my time and pass my gameplay on to Shalene because I've literally just played Pandemic Simulator all week in real life.
IRL,
sounds depressing.
In real
Bender.
life, yeah. So continue,
Okay.
Shalene.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Fallen Order a bit too. I had played the beginning of Fallen Order on PC, and then I just I did the thing that I've been doing this year where something else cool came out, so I went to check that out. So when it came out on Game Pass, I decided to install it on my Xbox, and I've been traveling a lot recently for reasonable reasons. I know this pandemic, everything, but I had reasons. So I found myself spending a lot of time in hotels over the past month, and I had my iPad with me, and I had been using it to like watch Disney Plus and stuff. I would plug it into the TV at the hotel. And I had an idea, and I took along my Xbox controller, and I tested out Xbox Remote Play with Jedi Fallen Order, and it actually worked really well.
Nice.
There was some lag, but it was not bad. It was absolutely plenty playable. It was acceptably smooth. It felt astonishing to be playing an Xbox game on the TV at the hotel with my iPad. It just that was amazing to me. It felt like the future. So that was really cool.
I love remote play. I think it's one of the best features for this current, I guess, iteration of consoles. Like
so
being
good.
able to take it wherever you want and just play it. And there's a little bit of lag, but it's really not that bad. It's nice.
I did find that Fallout 76 was unplayable on remote play. It was really bad, and I don't know if that's just that it's an online game trying to remote play, or if it was because Fallout. But it ran terribly. But Jedi Fallen Order was great. I got to spend some time playing an Xbox game, and that was very comforting to me while I was away. So that was cool.
Cool.
I also have an Xbox Series X that I picked up, and I picked up Fallen Order on that. I started it on remote play and then picked it up on the Series X. It runs so well on the Series X.
Nice.
It's just, it's so good. It runs so well on the Series X. But graphically, it is a huge step back from the PC version. It's
Really?
noticeably a much less attractive game on the Series X than on PC. So, and my PC was a bit of a beast like 2 years ago when I got it. Now it would be probably about mid-range. So, let's see. Let's talk about my Xbox Series X. I really like the Series X. It's very pretty. It is also very large. It looks a bit like a tiny refrigerator. We've all seen the memes.
I seen a meme the other day on Reddit. You know this new monolith thing that's happening?
Yes.
Well, there was like it was like an Xbox in the middle of the desert, and there was all these chimpanzees touching it. Anyways,
I heard that maybe you shouldn't be vaping into your Xbox Series X. I heard that may be something that you should not do.
Yes, I'll try to restrain myself from
Okay,
vaping.
good. I know that you're
Xbox
a real
Series
hardcore
X.
vapor,
Yes.
Shailene.
But it's a chunky boy, the Xbox Series X. It is an absolute unit of a console. It doesn't fit anywhere in my living room. I've taken a stool and set that up next to the entertainment center.
wow, because it's so tall.
Because it's this big brick of a
Can you
thing.
lay it on its side, maybe?
I think you can lay it on its side, but even on its side, it wouldn't fit anywhere
It's
in my
literally
living
the
center.
cornerstone of your living room.
Yes.
I mean,
So
you
have
you
this
could take
little
out the
stool.
leg from your entertainment stand and put that,
And the Xbox is sitting on this stool like it's on a pedestal next to the TV. So it's just like
you should have a little pot
place of
light from
honor,
the
a little
ceiling,
altar.
like a museum, It's like put it behind
Yes.
glass or something.
It has all these little holes in the top. It has a little bit of a concave top full of little holes, and that's the vent. And there's a giant fan in there that just blows air out, and it's like a stovepipe. Like when you've got this thing running for a couple of hours, like you can warm your hands over the top.
You
of
should
the Series
you should
X.
tape little colorful streamers to the top so when it blows, they're like.
It's like,
That
it's
would
like you're
be
playing.
so good.
It's like you're playing Frostpunk, and you've got that center area, and it's just a big cylinder,
It's not just a console.
And it's a black console, and then in the little holes, like the inside of the holes is green, that Xbox green TM, Xbox green TM. It's so cool when you're passing by it. It looks like you can see a hint of that green color. It's very nice.
Have you sniffed the console for the air quality?
You know what? I have not, because I was afraid that it might affect it in the same way as vaping. I vape so constantly that I was worried that I would.
You're pretty much a character from Mad Max, as I know it.
Exactly. So
Rick is Fauciing so hard right now.
the packaging was so lovely for the Xbox Series X. It was a joy to open this console. It was very easy to open packaging, and it was a lovely experience, I must say. The setup was really easy. I liked using my phone to log in. You start the process, and then it gives you a QR code to log in.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. Oh wow,
That's old school.
But
You were saying?
yes, the feel of the controller is very nice. I really like the material. It's like a matte material, as opposed to the more slick feel of
I love that
the
clamshell.
prior controllers. Yeah, it's really
Clamshell's amazing.
good.
Clamshell my car if I could.
It feels like
Put that one on your gravestone.
controller feels like a really good Like the grip on the controller feels really good on the Xbox Series X.
Nice.
It's basically the same as the Xbox One controller, though. It's very similar to the traditional Xbox One controller. There's an extra button on it. I don't know what that button
It's
does.
the next button.
Yeah,
When
this
you
is
are in
another
dire
button.
need
$100
of
went.
something.
The new button.
Shalene, you press that button and magic will happen. It's like, man, I am on my last leg here. You press that button, bam.
The console behind her just goes.
Is that the self-destruct?
Do not press. Do not seek the treasure. Do not press the button.
It's bushwhacked.
But it's a great little console. It's very fast. It's a great console. I've quite enjoyed it so
Glad you
far.
like it. Have you wrapped up? Have you wrapped up the other one?
No, I have the other one set up here in this room. It's hooked to my PC monitor actually, and I put the Series X on the TV in the living room.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. We've been using it as a Disney Plus machine more than anything else.
No, I was asking for your niece and nephew. I thought you had bought them a console as well.
Oh yeah, I bought them. Yes. I thought you meant my old Xbox.
No. So have you wrapped up? Have this one come and have you wrapped it up? Are you getting excited?
Yeah, I saved for them the first one that came in case the other one didn't come.
Oh, that's smart.
That's thoughtful.
That was the reason why I ordered two. was
Rick
in
and
case
I would
one
have
of
just
them
ripped
didn't
right
come.
into that.
Oh, yeah,
the first
totally
one
would've
that
been
came
like,
in.
yeah.
So, guys, stop.
We're just telling you the truth.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That was the first game that I booted up on my Xbox Series X. I was very excited to check it out. I've played it for about 3 hours or so. I haven't had time to go back to it since.
About the same as you, Shalene.
Yeah, I was very, very excited to check this game out. I love Vikings. Like, that period of history is something that I really, really enjoy. I like Norse mythology. So very excited for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The controls do not seem great. And I don't know if maybe I just need to get good, but the controls feel very jerky, very herky-jerky. Do not feel great.
Yeah, it's been hard to go from Demon Souls, where it's like very like methodical, like everything has its right place, the animations are correctly executed, and then to go play Valhalla, where it's a little clunkier. It's hard. I'm putting some time between those so that I can start fresh with it, I think.
Did you guys see the comparisons between like old Assassin's Creed or like Watch Dogs running through water and like new Valhalla?
No, I haven't
Oh
seen
man, like in the Assassin's Creed one, if you're on a pole and you get shot with an arrow, you like fly off, and like Valhalla, like you're up on top of a tiny pole and you're just getting thwacked with arrows, and he's like, it's fine, it's not a big deal. And, and then like I forget which game it was, in an old Ubisoft game, when you run through the water, oh, it was Assassin's Creed 4. You like lift your knees up because you're like trying to run through the water. In Valhalla, you're like, running through the water's no problem for me, and it's just like so much for
Vikings go to leg day, you know. History tells us that.
The game looks fine. It looks good. It doesn't have that next gen look.
You're not selling this game very well for me.
But to be fair, it's not a next gen game, really. You know, this game was built for not the next gen. It was built for the current gen.
Yeah, it looks a lot like The Witcher to me. Like it has the same
it does.
kind of like look and feel and time period that it's like it's nice and I'm gonna play more of it, but the environment, it's like, oh, it's more, more Witcher.
Yeah. I will say that I very, very much enjoy playing this video game as a strong Viking lady. That is everything for me. I really like being this just incredible shield maid with her buff arms, and just she's very strong, and I quite enjoy that part. I do kind of think they maybe need to drop the Assassin's Creed branding on their historical games at Ubisoft. This is a wonderful game, and I'm glad it exists. But there is nothing assassin-y about kicking in a door and hewing your enemies in half with a war axe. And there's really not much that's Viking-y about stealthing around and stealth killing your enemies.
Yeah. And it's kind of at war with itself. Like it'll tell you like when you first, I guess, in like the beginning parts of the game, they're like, all right, so in monasteries, that's where they keep all of the goods and gold. And we all know that, so we have to go raid all the churches because we're Vikings and we're going to go
Right.
pillage people. But if you go into the church and start killing people, they're going to be like, whoa, 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 assassins didn't kill the people. And I'm like, you're a Viking. Like,
You killed everybody.
to kill everyone and take it all, but it's not letting you do the Viking thing. So
Yes.
it feels at odds with itself kind of a little bit.
But I love that I'm playing an awesome Viking game, but I kind of miss that Assassin's Creed feel from some of the earlier Assassin's Creed games. These last few, I haven't finished any of these new ones since Origins, but I've played them all, and they feel like great historical games. They don't feel like Assassin's Creed to me. But I have enjoyed my time with Valhalla very much. Raiding settlements is really fun. You hop on your Viking longship, and your strong Viking lady is like standing in the front, just boldly, like she's like the Captain Morgan bottle pose, just standing there in the front of the longboat, and you steer it around, and it's so funny.
I just realized I don't even know what the label looks like. I just drink it. I don't know what.
It is so funny piloting this boat after all of our time in Sea of Thieves, because I was like, okay, what do I do with the sails? I need to. No, not in this one. You just like one stick, and it's like walking. You just cruise it in there.
You don't even control the sail depth or anything like that?
A little bit, but
Okay.
not. There's not a lot of detail. But raiding settlements is very fun. And the characters and the story are very engaging so far. I'm looking forward to checking out more of it. So like I do like I sound like I don't like this game, but I do like this game. I'm really excited to play more of it. I know I haven't done a great job at selling the game, but I gotta be fair.
It seems like if you liked Origins and Odyssey, that you will like Valhalla. That if you like those, you will like this one. If you didn't like those, you probably won't like this one.
Agreed. If you like strong Viking ladies, you're definitely gonna like this game. So I'll tell you that. I also want to talk a bit about Assassin's Creed New Horizons, or Assassin's Creed.
I thought that...
Animal Crossing New Horizons. That's what happens when you have all these AC games to play. Animal Crossing New Horizons. So the golden trout is one of the rarer fish
It all makes
in
sense
the river.
now. I was reading the notes, and I'm like, Turkey Day and Assassin's Creed? Wow. Okay.
The golden trout is one of the rarer fish, and at the beginning of November, I checked to see what fish and bugs were on their way out at the end of November. Golden trout was on the list, so I thought I must redouble my efforts to catch the golden trout.
Absolutely.
We must catch the golden trout before it is gone. And so I thought, no big deal, it's going to be fine. And every day I would go to the beach and I would dig up manila clams, and I would turn those clams into fish bait. You have to do these one at a time. There is no batch crafting. Each time that you turn a clam into fish bait, it's a dramatic little cutscene in which your character crafts the bait. It takes a little bit, and I would catch about 30 clams, turn them into fish bait, and then I would fish at the top of the river. I would just fish. I would use all this bait and fish and fish and fish, and I would never get the golden trout. And hundreds of bait later, I finally caught the golden trout on like November the 29th. It was fantastic. I was so excited. I freaked out. So it can be done, folks. It can be done.
So what do you do with it? What do you do with it when you get it? Do you mount it? Do you cook it up?
You give it to the owl that runs the museum.
Oh.
Yes. You have a museum on your island. It's run by an owl named Blathers. So you take it down, you give it to the Blathers, to the museum director. He'll tell you some fun facts about what you've brought him,
Yeah.
and then it's on display in an
Oh,
aquarium.
and then you can go look at it, and you're
nice.
like,
Go visit it.
I did that.
Yeah.
That's mine.
It's really cool. Turkey Day was the Thanksgiving event for Animal Crossing, and it was adorable. It was so cute. The town was visited by this turkey named Franklin, right? And Franklin the turkey is in the town square, and you go over and you're like, "Hey, Franklin, what's up?" And Franklin's like, "Hey, I need help. My ingredient gopher fell through. I need to hire someone to help me prepare this Turkey Day meal." So so he hires you and he sends you to get ingredients. It took ages to find all of these ingredients for Franklin the turkey.
I love it.
And then after you complete the dinner, you can find better ingredients to make the dishes like sparkle on the table. So it took way longer to find the special ingredients that would make the dishes sparkle.
Right.
And I was thinking it's a really good thing that we didn't do much for Thanksgiving IRL, because I spent like 7 hours working on Turkey Day. It was like my Switch batteries died twice. It was terrible. It was so funny. All of my little animals showed up. They were all standing in line, holding little plates, dancing around. They were all wearing the same hat though. And I was really disappointed because nobody told me there was a Thanksgiving hat, or I would have tried to find the hat as well. Because they were all wearing the same hat for Thanksgiving. I was really disappointed that I didn't also get to have a Thanksgiving hat. And Franklin the turkey gives you a little speech at one point about how, "I know it's Turkey Day, but you would not believe how some people celebrate this day." Just like the horror. Because he's a turkey,
Right.
And it's Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cute.
That's where the Assassin's Creed comes into play,
Yes.
right? That's
I'll tell you, it just comes down out of nowhere and like
Yeah.
Ares and
Stealth
Sephiroth.
kills
just
dinner
Franklin
is
the
served.
Just-
You guys are such guys.
It's so good. So now Animal Crossing is gearing up for Christmas. There are lights up at the Nook shop. It's very cute. They're selling Christmas toys. I bought a little plush puppy that barks and wags its tail. So that is like, it's the cutest thing in the world. It's so cute. So having a lot of fun with that, and that's my gameplay.
I feel like when Shalene plays Animal Crossing, it's like one of those GIFs where it's like a baby and there's like kittens crawling all over the baby. I feel like that, like, Animal Crossing is the kittens and Shalene is the baby, and she's just like it's
Yes.
so adorable and there's so much
Yes.
cuteness everywhere, and she's just soaking it in for 7 hours.
And everyone was wearing hats, and I was like, "Where's
And
my hat?"
I bought ornaments, and there was
I'm still waiting for someone to dig up a skeleton on that island and be like,
Well,
"Who
I
does
mean,
this
you dig
belong
up
to?"
Even the
literal
skeletons would be
skeletons.
cute.
You dig up literal skeletons in Animal Crossing.
No, I just meant like from like a past villager, and like Tom Nook's like, "You shouldn't have found that. Just put the put it away."
Put away, yeah.
I still feel like there's something sinister going on in that island.
Native American burial ground. It's like, oh, well, you built that house in the wrong spot, and that's why everything is wrong.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've found stuff in my yard that I've left on my property because I've seen poltergeist.
Mhm, mhm. Well, guys, that's a show. It's been quite a
Marathon.
marathon. Yes, and
Almost 3 hours.
Almost 3 hours. I'm gonna try and finish it under 3 hours here. Any plugs and
Wait,
announcements?
wait. Let me
Oh, no.
derail you some more. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
We're not Bob Vilaying this.
Quick, someone mute him. Don't forget, next Friday, That Fallout Show, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can also find Dave Chaffins on Geography Arcade and some of the other podcasts that he listed at the beginning of the show. You can email us at info@wejustlovegames.com. You can find Dave on Twitter at Dave Chaffins, DaveChafinz. We are also on Twitter, We Just Love Games, at We Just Love Games. Shalene is at Shalene L, Rick at Rick McVick, and myself at VendorTronN. We have a Facebook presence as well, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games as well. Don't forget, you can also find us in the chat after dark. Come on down to the Discord and participate in the GIF Wars and or the Holiday Challenge, our two new sparkly channels. We record the show live every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. Don't forget, you can find us on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher Radio, also iHeartRadio. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. If you leave us a 5-star review shout-out, we will shout you out on the show and share your little message with us. Once again, thank you all for listening, and Dave, thanks for being a stellar, stellar guest on the show. What is your last words?
If there's anything to buy stocks in, it's family and friends.
Oh.